Hello. Just wait for a couple of minutes, guys. I'm just sitting. Hello. Can someone confirm if my audio video both are fine? Today we will be doing, hopefully without any power issues, clubbing as well as carry forward, set off and carry forward, as well as exemption if you have time. So three topics for the day. So I know it's going to be a lengthy session, but we are kind of we have been taking classes from so many days for this TT, so I would like to conclude it today. So we will be kind of doing most of the topics that are required for us for examination. I'll just wait for a couple of minutes. Once people join and it is fine, then I will be taking the session. Yeah, so it's fine. Jyotika is also saying, so I'm assuming that it's fine. Uh, in a minute I'll be starting. Yeah, so yesterday we were doing something and in between there was a some technical issue, and so we had to close our session yesterday only. But today what we will be doing is we'll just be running over these topics. Yesterday we have started with the clubbing provisions. I'll just take it very quickly because I know yesterday only I've explained, so it would be more of a redundant and repetitive thing. But someone, if someone watching this video or not watching yesterday's videos, they might find it difficult. So I'll spend least amount of time to explain this. First thing, transfer of income without transfer of assets. Look, whenever you are transferring an asset without transferring the ownership of it. I'm having a building, so the building is in my name only, but I'm just transferring the income of the building to a person, a wife. It could be wife, it could be anyone. So then it will always be clubbed in the hands of the transferor. I'm repeating one more time. Whenever you are transferring an asset without transferring the ownership of it, it is always taxable in the hands of the transferor, irrespective of what other condition. When you are not transferring the ownership, only the outcome or income of the ownership you are transferring, then it is for income tax purpose, it will be still clubbed in the hands of the transferor. Next, income arising from revocable transfer. So whenever there is a revocable transfer, I'll explain in a very short way. When you call something as a revocable transfer is a transfer in which there is a clause in the agreement, and the agreement says that I can revoke, I can take back my ownership from that person. Example, I am X, I'm transferring my building to Y. So in that agreement, somewhere in one of the clause or one of the conditions, I'm putting it like, whenever I want, whenever I feel like taking the ownership, I will be taking the ownership from you. So it's not like irrevocable. It is not like a permanent transfer. It is only for time being you enjoy this asset, but whenever I want, I will take back the ownership from you. That is called revocable transfer. In the case of revocable transfer also, income will always be clubbed in the hands of the transferor. Yesterday I was giving one example. I'll just continue with the same example. I'm going to Bangalore for some purpose, some office or some business purpose. So my bike, I'm giving it to my friend, and I'm telling him that, boss, you use it as long as you want it. Maybe I might come back in 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. Whenever I come back, I'll take the bike from you. So I'm transferring the bike to him, but not like permanently. It's only till the time some event happens. So whenever that event happens, I mean, like whenever I come back from that particular place, I'll be taking the ownership from this transferee, right? So in that case, always the income from that bike, in our example, that should always be clubbed in the hands of me. Okay, so whenever there is a revocable transfer, it should always be clubbed in the hands of the transferor. And just now I explained what you mean by revocable transfer. Whenever there is a clause or a condition in the contract in which it is having directly or indirectly a right for the transferor to revoke back or take back his own asset, take back his own ownership of the asset, then you can say that is a revocable transfer. But there are exceptions to this. What do you mean by exception to the revocable transfer? The exception is that I am transferring an asset to a person till the person is alive. I mean, till the person is dead, he can use it. After his death, I will be taking it. Okay, so till the lifetime of the transferee, if you are transferring something, then even though it is a revocable transfer, it will not be clubbed in my hands, it will be clubbed in the transferee's hands. One example I would like to give you: there is a building. So building, I am transferring it to a person X, and I am telling that, boss, you use this building as long as you are alive. Okay, but once on your death, I will be taking back the ownership from you, or if I die before you, the ownership will go to us or something like that. So till the time the person is alive, he can enjoy the benefit from this building, right? So even though it is a revocable, but not when the person is alive, only on his death I will get the right to revoke it, right? So in this case, it will always be taxed in the hands of the transferee only. In examination, you can expect one question out of it. And clubbing also, yesterday I have explained. One more time I would like to. And from that company, my wife is get a salary without technical or professional skill. Then I am Limited is a company in which I am having 25% of stake in that company. My wife is working there. She is not educated. She is not having any professional skill, but still she is getting a salary of 30,000 or 40,000 per month. So it is just because I am having substantial interest, she is getting the salary. Otherwise, she doesn't deserve that salary. So in that case, that salary will be clubbed in my hands. My hands will be spouse, whoever is the having that substantial interest. It could be wife, it could be husband, depending upon the gender. So one more time, if both the people like husband and wife both are having substantial interest in a company and they are getting salary, now the question is in whose hands it will be clubbed? It will be clubbed in the hands of such person or such individual without considering that salary income. Whoever is having more income, okay, then it will be clubbed in that person's hands. If you find it difficult to understand with the theory, don't worry, we have few questions, and when we solve these questions, you will be able to understand. So I think yesterday also I was giving the same example. Mr. A is having 20% stake in ABC Limited, and Mrs. A is also having 30% stake in the ABC Limited, and she is getting some salary and she is not having any professional knowledge or technical expertise. So now the question is, hello, is my voice not so clear? Let me check once. Hello. Hello, mic testing. Hello. So there is some disturbance. We'll check what disturbance is it. Hello. How is the voice now, guys? Hello. There's something called. Can someone confirm how is the voice now? Hello. So the breakage in the voice is due to. I'm changing some settings. Just hold on. Hello. Hello. Some breakage is coming. Even I can also hear. Just hold on. I'm so sorry. Today we are having, every day we are having some other issue, but hopefully it will be sorted out soon. Just hold on a minute. Hello. Can someone confirm, like, is it at least you're able to get the voice at a desirable level? Hello. Extra sound is coming. Hello. Hopefully it will get sorted now. Is it at least okay to continue for now? Uh, Hello. Hello. Can someone say that? I know I've been asking the same question multiple times. Little clear at least. Uh guys, just I need your answer like so that we can continue. Is it still giving the echo sound? Is it still? Yes, it is clear now. Okay, so I'll be continuing without taking time. And if in case anything happens of that sort, just put me in the chat. Put the same in the chat box. I'll try to correct. Hopefully, it will be fine. I'll remove my mobile from here. I don't know whether this is also causing no echo sound, right? Yeah. So all this, I'll put it somewhere else. Yeah. So now, what I was explaining was whenever wife and husband both are having substantial interest in the company, it will be clubbed in the hands of the individual who is having more income before clubbing it. We have an illustration. If you find it difficult to understand here, you can understand from the illustration. Okay. And this is a question I was yesterday I was asking, but in between we had that power cut issue and we had to close it. So again, I'll be reading it today also. Mr. Arun holds shares carrying 55% voting in MNO Limited. Mrs. Anamika, wife of Mr. Arun, is working as a computer software programmer in MNO Private Limited at a salary of 35,000 per month. She is, however, not qualified for the job. The other income of Mr. Arun and Mrs. Anamika are 7,30,000 and 4,20,000 respectively. Compute the gross total income of Mr. Arun and Mrs. Anamika for the assessment year, assuming that they do not opt for the section 115 BAC. So now I will be waiting a minute. This is always the case. You calculate separately for Mr. Arun what is his taxable income, and again for Mrs. Anamika what is her taxable income. Okay. So now the question is saying Mr. Arun is having substantial interest in that company. So our section 64 is getting attracted. One more thing, whenever you are clubbing the salary income, always remember uh, always remember to take the standard deduction as well. Okay, so there is a chance that we might forgo or forget this provision. Whenever you are clubbing salary, you have to take the standard deduction. Okay, whenever you are clubbing the horse property, you need to take the standard deduction of that person. So whatever the other person is eligible, the same thing you are also eligible. Like if wife would have taken a deduction, it would have been taken by the husband also, like spouse also, whoever the case may be. So now the question, 35,000 per month is a income of salary of the wife. Now when you are clubbing in the hands of her husband, you have to take standard deduction also into consideration. Just let me know what is your answer for Mr. Arun and Mr. Anamika. I'll wait for a minute and we'll see if you can able to answer this. Screen clear ga ledu. So is the screen not clear, guys? I don't know what is happening from last 3 days. Guys, can I have the answer here? Can I have the answer here? Though it appears to be a very small question, but we have a lot of other questions where a lot of implications are there, like you need to apply a lot. I'll see how many of you are answering this question. You tell me the income of Mr. Arun separately and Mrs. Anamika separately. For every question, we should not spend more than 1 or 2 minutes. Is anyone trying to answer this? Very quickly. So that's how we build our concepts, not just understanding a theory. We need to know how to apply it in the numericals as well. Whoever is watching, try to give the answer. I'll wait for at least 2-3 people to answer this one. Knowing what is his income, because that's where you are clubbing it, right? Guys, don't take it like a silly questions. The purpose of asking you to solve the questions is just to test how far you are able to apply in the numericals. So her salary is 35,000 multiplied by 12. So 50,000 standard deductions you should never forget. 3,70,000 plus his other income is 7,30,000. Total it is 11 lakh. Okay. So 35,000 per month multiplied by 12 months, whatever you get, minus standard deduction of 50,000, and then 7,30,000 is other income. That's how you will be clubbing it. Okay. So we will be going to the next question. We'll see how many of you will be answering it. See, that's what we please try to answer. Then only I come to know that you are able to apply it in the examination. Mr. Binu holds shares carrying 33% voting in Yamuna Private Limited. Mrs. Babita is working as an accountant in Yama Private Limited, getting income from salary computed. So remember this one word. Whenever the question says computed, you don't need to do one more time standard deduction. I'm repeating. Whenever the question says salary computed, house property computed, PGBP computed, don't take any other expenditure or any other deductions. You take the final figure as that figure. Whenever it is not saying, whenever the question is silent, you deduct that 50,000 or whatever the standard deduction. Okay, so now she is getting a salary of 3,60,000 without any qualification in accountancy. Mr. Binu also receives 32,000 as interest on securities. Mrs. Babita owns a house property which she let out. Rent received from tenants is 6,500 per month. So again, I'm just giving you a hint. Just per month is given. They are not saying it's computed. So whenever you are taking the actual income from house property, you have to deduct the 24 years standard deduction also. I'm just giving you a hint. Compute the gross total income of Mr. Binu and Mrs. Babita for the assessment year 23-24. So I am looking for your answer, Mr. Binu. What is his gross total income? And for Mrs. Babita, what is the gross total income? I'll wait for a minute. Let's see how many of you will be able to answer it. Okay. So if you are not answering the questions and expecting only provision revision, so I would say that this class might not be that useful for you. You need to apply and put it in the chat box. Then you'll come to know whether you are applying the provisions correctly or not. Hurry up, guys. Just think like you are in an examination hall and you have very limited time. You don't look into any Google or anywhere. Just take your calculator, take your paper, book, whatever. You write it and do it and tell me the answer. Okay. Mr. Binu, what is the answer? What is the total income for him? And what is for Mr. Babita? Mrs. Babita, sorry. B no, because he's holding 33%, so that is a substantial interest, and she's not holding any professional degree or any professional qualification or technical skill, so it will be clubbed in his hands. 3,60,000 when they said computed, you need not again do what you call standard deduction. And what is his other income? Bino also receives 32,000 as interest on securities, so 32,000 also you will take it, that is Bino's income. And coming to Babita, because it is her salary is clubbed in husband's hands, it will not be clubbed in, it will not be taxed in her own hand. So salary may it will be 0, salary may it will be 0. And if she is having any income, she is having an income from house property 6,500 multiplied by 12. So we assume that the standard rent and municipal value is also same. So because we don't have any other information, minus 30% standard deduction, 54,600 will be taxed in her own hands. So whoever is answering, just check if this answer is matching your answer, otherwise it's fine. I'll go to the next one. Income arising to spouse from asset transferred without adequate consideration, 6414. Now what is he doing is transferring the asset to the spouse for inadequate consideration. If it is for adequate consideration, that is a genuine transaction, clubbing provisions will not be applicable. Only for inadequate consideration only these provisions will be applicable. Transfer of assets other than house property, it will come under clubbing provision section 64. If it is a transfer of house property, it will be a deemed owner under section 27. Okay, so remember this one point, very tricky point. If it is transferred for otherwise than for adequate consideration or in a connection with the agreement to leave apart, any income arising to the transferee spouse from the assets, transferred asset, either directly or indirectly, shall be included in the total income of the transfer. Okay, if it is other than house property, so you take any asset other than house property, it will be clubbed in the hands of the husband. I mean, like the transferer. Okay, it could be husband, it could be wife. Whatever the income generated by the transferee spouse, it will be clubbed in the hands of the transferor spouse. Okay, only if the transaction is not with an agreement to live in apart, or it is for inadequate consideration. If it is for adequate consideration, there is no question of clubbing. But however, if it is for transfer of house property, you will go to income from house property provisions only. In case of transfer of house property, the provisions are contained in section 27. If an individual transfers a house property to the spouse without adequate consideration or otherwise in a connection with the agreement to live apart, the transferor shall be deemed to be the owner of the house property. Its annual value will be taxed in his own hands, his or her, as the case may be. Once again, there is a person who is having a house property. If he is transferring that house property to his wife for adequate consideration, no clubbing. Case number 2, he is having a house property, he is transferring it to his spouse because they are agreed to live apart. I mean, just like a divorce, but not through law. Just that they sat and they kind of had their own arguments and they both felt that we will live apart. Okay, so at that time he's transferring his house property to his wife, then again no clubbing provisions. Okay, if it is for money, proper adequate consideration, no clubbing. If it is for an agreement to live in apart, no clubbing provision. But otherwise then these two, when a husband is transferring, husband or wife is transferring house property to the spouse, it will be clubbed in his hands or her hands. What is the value? Net annual value. Net annual value matlab your gross annual value minus all other deductions that is available. So understand these two differences. Many people get confused here. If it is a house property, it is actually clubbing provision is there in section 27 only, income from house property only. If it is other than house property, it will be clubbed in the husband's or transferor's hand under section 64(1)(4). Okay. Income from accretion of the transferred asset. It may be noted that any income from accretion of the transferred asset is not to be clubbed with the income of the transferor. So what does that mean? So when you are clubbing the income from the asset, that's fine. Maybe from that income, the transferee might invest somewhere and she or he might again generate income on income. So only one time it will be clubbed, not second time. Example, a person is transferring the house property or any asset. Okay, house property or any asset to the spouse. So income on that asset will be clubbed in the transferor's hand, that you know it. Now that income also she again invested in FD and she is getting some interest on FD. So should the interest on FD be also be clubbed in the hands of the transferor? Not required. The clubbing provisions will apply only once. Okay. So I'm having a capital asset, I'm transferring it to the spouse, and the income from that capital asset will be clubbed in the hands of the transferor. That's it. Income from income is not clubbed. Only once it is clubbed. Income arising on transferred asset alone is clubbed. However, income earned by investing such income cannot be clubbed. That's what I said it in just now. Transferred asset invested in business. So it so happens that husband or wife is doing their own business, or the spouse is now giving a capital contribution. So when you are giving a capital contribution, what should be clubbed is profit derived by that business should be clubbed in the hands of the transferor. Meaning we have illustrations. If anybody finds it difficult to understand, we have illustrations for just understand the provision. Mrs. X, she's doing a business. She's a partner in XYZ business. Okay. So Mr. X has given 5 lakh money to Mrs. X and she has invested as a capital contribution in this firm, XYZ firm. So now whatever the interest she generates from this, to be clubbed in the hands of the Mr. X transferor only. But here one catchy point is that the capital contribution should be seen on the first day of the year, means 1st April. So whenever you are checking what is the proportion of capital is coming from the spouse, you need to see what was the capital as on 1st April of the relevant previous year. It is not in between the year. So we have one example. Let me do that example, then you will understand it in a better way. Okay. So any questions so far? There is absolutely no participation from the viewers today. Or is it too difficult to understand, or is it like I'm going too fast at the moment? Anyone, any questions so far, or can I go ahead with this question and help you understand how it's been done? Anyone? No? Okay. Mr. Rahul started a proprietary business on this date, 1st April 2021. Okay. 1st April 2021 with a capital of 6 lakhs. He incurred a loss of 3 lakh during the previous year 21-22. So at the end of the year, his capital would have been 6 lakhs minus 3 lakhs, 3 lakhs only. Okay. To overcome the financial position, his wife, Mrs. Radha, a software engineer, gave a gift of 7 lakhs. So his wife is giving a gift of 7 lakh. Now the question is, like, should the clubbing provisions be invoked or not? On this date, 1st April 2022, that is the beginning of the year. So that's what we concerned about, right? Which was immediately invested in the business by Mr. Rahul. He earned a profit of 5 lakh rupees during the year 2022 to 23. Compute the amount to be clubbed in the hands of Mrs. Radha for the assessment year 23-24. If Mrs. Radha gave the said amount as a loan, what would be the amount clubbed? So if it is a genuine bona fide loan, clubbing provisions will not be applicable. If it is a genuine bona fide loan, clubbing provisions will not be applicable. So I am taking a loan from my wife at a reasonable rate, like whatever the market rate, the clubbing provisions will not be applicable. But if I'm just taking it as a gift from the wife and investing in my own business, then whatever the business generates profit, proportionately it should be clubbed in the hands of wife. So coming to this, I started my business with what value? 6 lakhs for FY 21 to 22. So that was, I'll just write it here in a simplest way. FY 2021 to 22, my capital was 6 lakhs, but I got a loss of 3 lakhs during that year. So my capital wiped off and capital has become 3 lakhs. Okay. So now for FY 22 to 23, wife is giving a loan of 7 lakh rupees. Okay, so now my capital has become 10 lakh. Okay, so out of 10 lakh capital, 3 lakhs is my own capital. So 3 by 10 is my proportionate, 7 by 10 is wife's proportionate. Okay, so now the profit that I generated during the business is 5 lakh. So now the because of that business, like assuming that I'm doing some business, usme 5 lakhs have generated. So 5 lakhs mein 3 by 7 is my own money. So 5 lakh multiplied by 3 by, sorry, not 7, 3 by 10, like 3 plus 7, 10, right? So 3 by 10, it is my proportionate. 5 lakh multiplied by 7 by 10, that is a proportionate of my wife's. So it should be clubbed in the hands of the wife. So the clubbing provisions happens whenever a spouse is giving a loan as a part of a capital, is giving business, it should be seen as a proportion of capital contributed by spouse, and that should be seen on the first day of the year only. This is always remember. Had she given the same amount on the 2nd of April, this clubbing provisions would have not applied. And if it is as a bona fide loan, clubbing provisions will not be applicable. And one more thing, we have already done with the chapter income from other source, right? Section 56 to 10. Whenever you are receiving any asset or money from your relative, like spouse is a relative, obviously, right? So it will not be taxable in the hands of the recipient. Had I received the same amount from someone else, because the amount is more than 50,000, I would have been end up paying tax on the amount under income from other source. Since it is from a relative, even section 56 to 10 also cannot be invoked. And the next thing is, by now you would have understood that you cannot give any asset to your spouse. Okay, I mean, if you give, the clubbing provisions will apply, or if you cannot employ your spouse in an entity in which you are having substantial interest, and especially wife or husband is not having any technical knowledge or professional experience. Okay, these two are violation. I mean, like, the clubbing provisions would be applicable. Now the third one we will discuss is 64.16. If you can write still 64.1, that's fine. As long as my understanding goes, you should be good with all other provisions, applications, numericals, everything is fine. You need clause level. If you can go, that's well and good. Yeah. So coming to the point again. Now, example, Mr. X is having a son, is Mr. Y. So Mr. X or Mrs. X, this Mr. Y got married, and Mrs. Y is his wife. Okay, now what these elderly people are doing is, instead of transferring it to the son, they are transferring it to son's wife. He is a son, he is a dad, she's mom, he is son, and Mrs. Y is son's wife. Okay, now father-in-law is transferring it to that lady, that girl. So now, even in this case also, if it is for other than for consideration, like sufficient consideration, then only this provisions applies. If it is a genuine transaction, bona fide loan, it will not apply. Okay, there is one more condition. When you are transferring asset to your son's wife, the relationship should exist. I mean, like, father-in-law and daughter-in-law, that relationship should exist not just at the time of income generation, it should also exist at the time of transferring the asset. In other way of saying, if these people are transferring 10 lakh rupees to this girl, okay, at that time the relationship should exist. Bole to Mr. Y should have been got married by then. Okay, the father-in-law and daughter-in-law, that relationship should exist at the time of transfer of the asset and also at the time of generation of income on that asset. So both at the time of transfer of asset, at the time of generation of income, the relationship should exist. Then only this provision section 64(1)(6) will be applicable. Otherwise, it will not be applicable. So I'll take one example. Mr. X and Mrs. X, either way, they have transferred 10 lakh rupees to this girl before marriage. So before marriage, the relationship was not there that time, right? So these provisions will not be applicable. Maybe some other provision section 56 to 10 will be applicable, but this provision will not be applicable. Now she is generating some income based upon the 10 lakh rupees. Be she is investing in any business, or maybe she is depositing in a fixed deposit. Whatever the case, because the relationship was not there at the time when they were transferring the asset to this girl, this lady, the provisions will not be invoked. Or can you explain FY 22-23 point as there was some disturbance? Okay. I'll explain. Any question with respect to son's wife? Okay. You can expect a question on this. I will explain your point, Jacob. Please focus on other points. That one point I'll explain. I hope now the audio is fine. Anyone, any questions so far? Don't ask any silly questions, okay? Not like funny questions. Subject related questions with respect to this transaction. Anyone, any question with respect to father-in-law or mother-in-law is transferring an asset to son's wife and it will be clubbed? When it is not clubbed, understand the exception also. When there is no relationship at the time of transfer of the asset or at the time of generation of income on the transfer of asset, these provisions will not be applicable. Okay, one more thing, only when it is without consideration or inadequate consideration, then only it will be applicable. Otherwise, these clubbing provisions cannot be invoked. Okay, just by looking into any funny videos, don't think that they are true. This is the provision has to be read properly. Okay, so some people might give a suggestion like, okay, you transfer it to your son or son's wife, then you don't have to pay tax. But people kind of, I have seen some videos wherein they give this kind of advice that is only for normal purpose, but as a professional, that provision cannot be applied in reality in that way. We have more questions coming up on this same point. So if anybody couldn't understand any part of it, you can understand. Coming to Jacob, the point here is whenever spouse generates any income from the transferred asset, and if it so happens in a business sense, you have to see the capital on the first day of the year. In that illustration, assuming myself, I started the business with 6 lakhs as a capital. Nobody's contribution, it's my own contribution, my own salary. Assuming with that salary, I started my business after quitting the job. So 6 lakhs mein first 1 year total loss, I mean 50% lost. So 6 lakhs mein 3 lakhs is lost. So my capital has been coming to 3 lakhs only. Now because the amount is very less, I'm asking my wife to give me some money. Okay, so she's giving 7 lakhs as a gift to me. So now my total capital has become 3 lakhs plus 7 lakhs, 10 lakhs, right? With this 10 lakhs, I have done some business, I have generated some profit. So should everything be coming into my hand, or should any part be going to my wife's hand? So now you can say at the beginning of the year, when for that particular previous year 2022-23 ke liye, beginning of the year, my capital was 3 lakh, her capital was 7 lakh, right? So the total proportionate is 3/10 is mine, 7/10 is hers. Okay. Now whatever the profit that I generate, that multiplied by 3/10 will go and be clubbed in her hands, and 7/10 will be clubbed in her hands, 3/10 will be clubbed in my hands. Okay. So now we'll go to another question. I'll wait for a minute after reading this question. Let's see how many of you are able to catch it. Mrs. Komal transferred her immovable property to TPS Company Limited, subject to a condition that out of the rental income, a sum of 42,000 per annum shall be utilized for the benefit of her son's wife. So now she is a mother-in-law. Okay. So what she is doing is she transferred some property to a company. Okay, some company, for whatever the reason, we need not check it. From that property, immobile property, whatever the rental income is generated, that rental income should go to the son's wife. Okay, Kodal. So it should go to the son's wife. So now Mrs. Komal claims that the amount of 42,000 utilized by her son's wife should not be included in the total income, as she no longer owned the property. Now these are Chaluki people. Okay. So what they are doing is, assuming that this lady is me only, I am transferring a building to a company and I am telling them, boss, a building से जो भी आपको पैसे मिलता, like whatever the income that you generate from this building, it should go to my son's wife. And when the income tax officer is coming with the notice, I'm saying, I have already transferred the house property or building to someone else. I'm not the owner of it. So why are you clubbing it? So now you have to tell, because these kind of questions will come for 4 marks. Okay, you have to explain the provision, facts of the case, point of dispute, provision of the law, then your conclusion. Then absolutely you will get very good marks. This is how you have to remember. You have to write four points. You have to make 4 sentences, 4 sentences in your examination for case study based questions. Then there's a possibility that you will get a very nice mark. Okay. So now the question, should it be clubbed in the hands of the mother-in-law because she's transferred the rental income to the son's wife because she's a beneficiary in it? Yes or no, you tell me now. But in examination, don't say yes or no. You first discuss the point of this facts of the case, then point of dispute, then provision of the law, and then your conclusion. Then I would say you will get really good marks. Not valid. It should be clubbed in the hands of Komal. The answer is right, but I know you need not type it here. But in examination, make sure that if it is a 5-mark question, you fill the entire page. Okay, I know time will be constrained, but you practice writing so fast that you end up making 4 sentences. So whenever examiner values it, no, he will say, okay, 1 mark for point of dispute, facts of the case, because this guy has understood the question. See, a lot of times what happens is people don't understand what is the fact of the question. Something or other they'll write, no. So for facts of the case के लिए 1 mark will be allocated. For point of dispute के लिए 1 mark. And then provision of the law के लिए 1 mark. If there is any case study, you quote it if you remember. Otherwise, it's fine. Remaining 1 mark. So for 4-mark question, at least 3 marks you are very much sure. Okay, forget about that 4th mark. 3 marks is good number for you to get it. Yeah, in examination you try to elaborate. Now it's fine if you can just say yes or no. Yeah. So now we'll go to the next phase of our discussion, that is clubbing of minor's income. This is very important from examination point of view. I'll explain all the provision. In examination mein you try to reproduce in your own words, but the concept or the content should be same. Okay, all income of a minor to be clubbed in the income of his parent. Okay, whatever the income is earned by the kid or the minor, it should always be clubbed in the hands of the parent. Now the question is, in whose hands it should be clubbed? Same provision just now I discussed relating to salary income of the spouse. Same way, assuming that I am earning 15 lakh as a total income in a year, and my wife is earning 12 lakh rupees or 18 lakh. Okay, you might say that why am I giving the lesser number? She's earning 18 lakh, I am earning 15 lakh per annum as our total incomes. Okay, we have a kid, and on his name we have invested a fixed deposit for his future education purpose. Now should it be clubbed in my hand because I'm having 15 lakh, or should it be clubbed in the hands of the wife because she is having more income? The answer is, whoever is having more income, it should be clubbed in that person's hand. I'm repeating, husband wife, okay, you have to check before clubbing, whoever is having more income, it should be clubbed in that person. Husband is having 15 lakh rupees as a total income, assuming all calculation. Wife is having 18 lakh as a total after all calculation. Now this kid minor, on him we are generating some 50,000 rupees as income because of something. We'll discuss all those points. Now should it go to husband or should it go to wife? The answer is, before considering the minor's income, whoever is having more income, it should be clubbed in that person's hands. The reason is government is very particular, because this wife is having more income, so she would be paying tax at a highest slab rate. Okay, because I'm having a little lesser income, maybe I end up paying tax at a little lesser rate. Okay, so if it is clubbing in the hands of the wife, government will get more tax, right? So think from the government point of view. That is like a revenue. Government doesn't want to miss any tax over here. So that is the reason why whoever is having more income, before clubbing, it should be clubbed in that person's hands. Okay, but whenever we do there is one chapter exemption. I am planning to do it today only, depending upon how fast we go it. There is a section 1032, 1500 will be exempt, meaning because minor is having 50,000 rupees income, right? So whenever you are clubbing in the hands of the mother, you deduct this 1500 separately. For one kid, separately you can deduct 1500. So that is one point. Second point is, sir, maybe next year husband got hike and his salary has become 20 lakh. Okay, but unfortunately wife has not got any promotion. Her salary is only 18 lakh, husband is having 20 lakh. Now for the next year, should it be clubbed in the hands of the husband? No, you can still club in the hands of the wife only. Once you settle with clubbing in one person's hand, like be wife or husband, you stick with that for that person only. You need not change it on a year basis unless the assessing officer feels otherwise. There is a need for you to change the clubbing from husband to wife or wife to husband. You need not change it on a year basis. Last year you are clubbed with the husband, so current husband was the father. Now also you club in the hands of the father only. Last year you are clubbed with the mother. Now also you club in the hands of the mother only. Sir, what happens if the marriage does not persist, which means that they got divorced? Okay, so after divorce, should it be clubbed in the hands of the husband or mother or father? The answer is, whoever is maintaining that kid, it should be clubbed in that person's hand. Okay, assuming that they took divorce in after 2 years or 3 years. Now this kid is been maintained by wife only. Okay, assuming that court has given that verdict that kid should be in the custody of the wife. In that case, it should always be clubbed in the hands of the wife only, irrespective of whoever is having more income. Don't see that provision. If it is maintained by the husband, then it should be clubbed in the hands of the husband only. Respectively, they will again take 1500 as a exemption. Okay, I am repeating one more time. When the kid is having any income, not because of any manual work, not because of any technical skill or anything, only because of the income given by or some money given by whoever it could be, it should always be clubbed in the hands of the parent who is having more income before clubbing. Okay, before clubbing I'm saying that. And if the marriage does not persist, whoever is maintaining that kid or in whose custody the kid is been maintained, it should be clubbed in that person's hands. And once you fix that the income should be clubbed in the hands of the mother, it should always be clubbed in the hands of the mother only, irrespective of change in the income patterns in the subsequent period. Once you feel that it should be clubbed in the hands of the father, it should always be clubbed in the hands of the father only. You need not change it on a yearly basis. Okay, I said all the points that are available, and there are one more point. See, assuming that 5 lakh FD, 5 lakh FD was given in the name of that minor, and on that 5 lakh is generating 50,000. This is the issue. Now take an example. This 5 lakh, this kid is a very talented kid, or maybe is doing some manual work. Okay, कुछ भी काम कर रहा है on his own. It's not because of the money given by his mother or father or aunt or anyone. It is out of his own, like he's selling tea in the evening after coming from school. Okay, just example. We are not sending like that. So that is child labor. So if he's doing any work, manual work, it will not be clubbed. So assuming that maybe because of its technical skills, maybe his dance is so good that he's giving dance shows, or maybe he's a talented guy and is able to sing, and maybe he's having his own YouTube channel and is generating some income, something of that sort. Okay. So assuming that he's generating 5 lakh rupees in a year out of his own skill or his own manual work. Now the question is, should it be clubbed or not? The answer is, it need not be clubbed. Need not be clubbed. It should not be clubbed. Should not be clubbed. Should not be clubbed. But there is a twist here. This kid, what he has done is, he got 5 lakh rupees, right? Anyway, he's staying with the parent only. So parents are only giving all the necessity things to him. So now this 5 lakhs he has deposited in a FD, fixed deposit, and that fixed deposit is generating and giving him some 50,000 rupees as a interest. Now, should this 50,000 be clubbed in the hands of the parent or not is a question. Okay, the answer is, it should be clubbed. So you might say, sir, it is out of his own skill. No, sir, his skill is only 5 lakh. Okay, because of his skill or maybe because of his manual work, he generated 5 lakh. So that is not clubbed. It will be taxable in his separate hands. That's fine. We have separate provisions how he can take a PAN on his name and all those cases. But he has invested that amount in a bank as a FD and is generating 50,000 as an interest. This is not a skill, right? This is not a skill. 50,000 is not a skill. So 50,000 should be clubbed in the hands of the wife because she's having more income before clubbing. Any questions so far, let me know with respect to clubbing of the minor child. Whoever is watching, just let me know your answer. See, when we don't conduct session, no, people come back in our comment session, we want this chapter, that chapter. But when we are conducting, only few people will come live. I don't know what is the reason, but that's what it is happening. Anyone, any questions so far with respect to kids clubbing? Or minor child's clubbing? Okay. I'll wait for some time. Otherwise, we can continue. Okay, I'll go to the next one. This 1500 concept I just now explained. Whenever you are clubbing the kids or minor child's income, always remember to deduct 1500 in each minor child. So in examination mein janbujhke they will give some confusion. Confusion is something like that. One person is having 3 kids. We have any question also, but for timing, let me give you one simple question. Okay, I'm having 2 kids and both are not not having any manual income, or it is not out of their skill. They are school going kids. One person is earning 2,000 rupees. Okay, one person is earning 3,000 rupees. Now how much should be clubbed? Okay, this is a question, people get it. Okay, in examination it's not like so simple, but out of the broader question a point will be raised on this. So what do you think? अरे दोनों को मिलाए तो हमको 3,000 आ रहा है. So 3,000 is a total income of the kid 64,100. And as sir told, section 1032 के हिसाब से you will have 1,500 rupees per each kid. So 1,500 multiplied by 2, so 3,000 exemption we will get, and 3,000 is a clubbing. So 3,000 minus 3,000, nil will be clubbed ultimately. That answer is wrong. You have to do it separately for each kid. Sir, what do you mean by that? So kid number 1, 2,000 minus 1,500, so 500 will be clubbed. Kid number 2, 1,000, but maximum is 1,500, so it's up to 1,500, no? So 1,000 will be exempted, nil. So 500 will be clubbed. So don't make this mistake. This is like randomly I'm just throwing a question on to you, but that's how the examiner will confuse you. Same thing will be for your salary also. 100 per child, 100 per child up to maximum of 2 children, 300 rupees per child per month, maximum of 2 children. Like whenever employer gives something to the employee, 100 and 300 is there, no? That is also you have to do it separately for each kid. Here also you have to do it separately for each kid. I'm going little fast. The reason is I want to complete the Setoff and Carryfoward provisions also. Whoever is watching, let it be, because I don't want to continue this session any further. I can see a very low response from you guys, and that is absolutely not motivating. So today I will try to complete all the topics. In case of asset transfer to a minor child not being a minor married daughter, so this is all old provision, guys. That time that time people used to have the marriages, like when the girl is underage also, people used to get her married. But now things are changed, but as a provision we'll read it. Don't think that practically we'll apply this. We have a lot of provisions, lot of sections. Now it's coming. Even the age is also increased from 18 to 21. Okay, just like a theoretical. In case of asset transfer to a minor child not being a minor married daughter without consideration or for inadequate consideration is a house property, then by virtue of section 27 the transferor parent will be deemed to be the owner of the house property. Same point I said it, right? Husband or wife is giving to the spouse, husband is giving to wife, or wife is giving to husband for inadequate consideration and not for an agreement to live apart. It will be, don't use the word clubbed. Even the transferor only will be deemed to be the owner, and he will be put under income tax as a net annual value. Same logic here also. Father or mother, they are transferring it to their kid, and if the kid is minor married daughter, this provision will not be applicable. Minor married daughter, this provision is not applicable. If it is like, sir, she is not minor married daughter, sir, she is not married only, now they are transferring, so it will be clubbed in the, don't use the word clubbed also. The parent only, or the transferor parent only, will be treated as a deemed owner, and he will only be chargeable under income from house property. Same provision for spouse also, same provision for kid also. But exceptions you try to understand. Examination mein we make mistakes. If it is for adequate consideration, no deemed owner concept. If it is for agreement to live in apart, no deemed owner concept. If it is for a minor married daughter, no deemed owner concept. Other than this only, the transferor parent will be deemed to be the owner, and he will be paying tax under income from house property. Okay, this I explained, so I will not read it again. However, if the house property is transferred by a parent to his or her minor married daughter without consideration or for inadequate consideration, then section 27(1) is not attracted. Just now I said it. It will not be attracted if it is for a minor married daughter. Section 27 is out of the scope. However, in such case, the income from house property will be clubbed under section 64(1)(a). I'll repeat it. I know few people are there. At least for your betterment, in examination you might make a mistake. So I'll repeat one more time. If at all I made a mistake in explaining it. Husband is giving it to wife. Section 21 will be applicable. Husband is giving it to wife for adequate consideration. No section 27. Husband is giving it to wife for an agreement to live in apart. No section 27 will be applicable. Now, dad is giving to minor kid, section 27 will be applicable. Dad is giving it to minor married daughter, section 64 will be applicable, not 27. So in examination mein or in MCQs mein, you can expect this question. If the parents are giving it to minor married daughter, section 64(1)(a) will be applicable. If you remember section 64, that's fine. Section 64 will be applicable. But if the parents are transferring it to minor daughter, not married, only minor daughter, 27 will be applicable. The parents are giving it to minor married daughter, section 64 will be applicable. Okay, so you might say, what is so important? There is so much of important, guys, because the clubbing once you know that it is it will be treated under section 27(1), no, we have set off and carry forward. So if you are not able to set it off the loss also, you can carry forward and set it off in the subsequent year. But here there is nothing like that, right? So it has to be very clear. If it is minor married daughter, 64(1) will be applicable. If it is only minor daughter, only 27 will be applicable. So we'll check this illustration. Let's see how many of you are understood. I can see the answers only from one person, but I would say, guys, I mean, this is absolutely for all of us, right? So when I'm coming on a live session like this, and you know the session is going on, it is your responsibility to come here and understand, ask questions, spread the word to your friends, apply. Then only, see, once we are done with today's chapter, no, I'm sure that your clubbing will be good. For each chapter, the same logic. You might think that, okay, I'll watch it later because I'm having some other work. Maybe if it is very important, that's fine. Otherwise, you don't feel like watching a 3-hour session. But a live, okay, understand that one point. Okay, let's come back to this question, and I'll wait for a minute and let's see how many of you can answer this. Mr. Arvind has 3 minor children, 2 twin daughters aged 12 years and 1 son aged 16. Both of first they had twin daughters. Income of the twin daughters is 2,500 per annum each, and that of the son is 1,200 per annum. Remember, 1,500 you had to do it separately. That is how they are trying to test you. Mrs. Avani, wife of Mr. Arvind, has transferred her flat to her minor son on this day out of the natural love and affection. So this case went to the Supreme Court, guys. Okay, so some people were challenging in the court. You know how they are challenging? Why you are saying there is no consideration? Out of love, I am transferring this property to my wife. Out of love, I am transferring this to my husband or to my kids. So what the Supreme Court said is, yes, out of love you might have transferred. Out of love, you might say that is a consideration, but that is not adequate consideration for the income tax purpose. So that is a verdict. Okay, so out of love and affection, that is not an adequate consideration for the income tax. The flat was let out on the same day, and the rental income from the flat is 10,000 per month. Who she is transferring it to? She has transferred it to minor son. So you have to do 2 daughters ke liye, you do it separately, 1 daughter, 2nd daughter, and for this guy, because he is having house property also, remember, standard deduction also will be applicable. Compute the income in respect of minor children to be clubbed in the hands of Mr. Arvind or Mrs. Arvind, assuming that Mr. Arvind's total income is higher. As I said, whoever is having more income, it will be clubbed. No, we cannot assume it. The reason why we cannot assume is that the question is intentionally asking us how you will club it. One thing, and one more thing, what is the income they are getting? Income from twin, so they are not saturated. Maybe you can put one assumption, as I'm assuming that the income is out of not out of the skill. Okay, but don't say that it is assumed that the income is out of the skill, so there is no clubbing provisions will apply. Don't say that, because you understand the context of the question. The question of the context of the question is how you will apply that for separately for each of the 3 kids, right? So don't take that assumption. Take an assumption that it is out of non-technical skill. So now the question is, daughter 1 ultimate amount you tell me, daughter 2 ultimate amount to be clubbed you tell me, and for son you tell me what is the ultimate amount to be clubbed. I will wait for a minute, and I'm sure at least 2-3 people of our class would be very serious, and I appreciate if you can give me the answer, because every provision has been explained to you. It's now up to you how effectively you apply the provision. Okay, so there are a lot of people who will tell you what is the provision. I mean, it's not a rocket science, anybody can tell you, but how you will apply that, that's only up to you. So I'm here to tell you, when you apply any mistake, if you are making a mistake, I'll help you resolve that mistake. Okay, I'll wait for a minute. Now peace. Daughter 1, 1000, daughter 2, 1000. Okay, so 2500 minus 1500, 1000. So both one same, correct. And son nil. Why nil? Why nil to son? Jacob. 8 so. Why nil to son? Once, can someone answer this? Why nil? Your answer is right, but why nil? Because I'm waiting for that because answer. That's it. Because mother has transferred a house property to son, right? Why is it not clubbed in his hands or parents' hands? $1,500 is for everyone. My question is why this 10,000 per month multiplied by 12? Mukunda, no, it will not be clubbed. I want the reason. The answer is right. Should not be clubbed. Whatever the rental income he is generating out of the income or out of the flat given by or transferred by his mom, there is a reason why you should not be clubbed. Why? 1,19,700 is a wrong, but don't take it like a personal. When I say wrong, you try to understand where it is going wrong. Okay. So it's okay to make a mistake here, not in the examination. Nobody? That's what I was shouting, right? When parent is giving a house property or house property to the minor, son or daughter, whatever, it will always be deemed as an income in the hands of that parent only. So it will be clubbed under section 27 only. I mean, you will be dealing it under section 27 only. Section 64 ke liye it will not come. That was I was expecting. Your answer is right, Jacob. But in examination in note mein you have to say that here I have given as per section 27(1), Mrs. Avani is a deemed owner of the house property transferred to minor son. So whatever the rental income she is generating, that will be the net annual value of mother only. So there is no question of clubbing provision for the house rental property because it is covered under section 27. Okay, so is it clear now? Is my point clear? As you said, daughter 1, she was getting 2,500 and section 1032 के हिसाब से 1,500 will be given as a benefit. So 1,000 will be clubbed, as you said, right answer. Daughter 2, 2,500 minus 1,500 again 1032. You keep repeating so that you remember in the examination also. It's not like, say, few sections we will by heart. That's it. Okay, not all, but few which are important. Section 1032 is also kind of a very regular section. So this is also clubbed. Coming to son, there is only one son. What is his income? His income is 1,200. So 1,200 minus 1,200 only. You will not do minus 1,500. So it will be, but you talk about the house property because whatever the rental income he is able to get it is out of the asset or house property transferred by his mom. She will only be deemed owner under section 27. So there is no question of applying 64 for this transaction. This will not be applicable. This would have been applicable had it been minor married daughter. Had it been minor married daughter, the rental income he is getting 10,000 per month multiplied by 12, so 1,20,000 multiplied by minus 30% standard deduction section 24A. So whatever the amount that comes, it would have been clubbed in the hands of the parent had it been minor married daughter. Since he is a son, it would be not be clubbed here. Mother only will be treated as a deemed owner. Any questions? This kind of a question you can expect. They will change the numbers, they'll change the names, context, but this is a basis upon which they might ask a question. So people neglect this chapter. I would say don't neglect this chapter. Anyone? Any question? Any question? Question. Okay, I'll move on. Keshavji, Morarji, you by heart this one case study because this is the only case study that we have for this particular concept. There is a concept of cross transfers. Cross transfers bole to there is Mr. X, his wife is Mrs. X, and there is Mr. Y, his wife is Mrs. Y. Okay. So Chelaki, what they do is Keshavji, Morarji, by heart this. Okay, few sections are very few case studies. If they come, you just have to write it. That's it. Only few. So what they do is Mr. X will give a gift to Mrs. Y of 5 lakh rupees. Mr. Y will give to Mrs. X gift of again 5 lakh rupees. So this is a cross transfer. Okay, Mr. X instead of giving to his own wife is giving it to his friend's wife. Okay, in the same way Mr. Y also is giving it to friend's wife. Now it is structured in such a way that, see, our clubbing provisions will be applicable only if it is a spouse, son's wife, or minor child, right? Okay, but in this case deliberately they put up a show that they are not transferring the money to either wife or minor or son's wife but to a third party, but they are making such an arrangement that they are getting the same amount from the other person. Okay, you can understand from this example. So Mr. X is giving a gift to Mrs. Y, Mr. Y is giving a gift to Mrs. X. Okay, so now what they say is, the act is saying this is very clearly a device to evade the tax. So this is called tax evasion. I can understand from this. So whatever the income generated on this 5 lakh to Mr. Mrs. Y will be clubbed in the hands of Mr. Y only. Whatever the income generated by Mrs. X will be clubbed in the hands of Mr. X, though the amount is given by someone else, but it is structured in such a way that you are trying to escape or you are trying to avoid the tax. Okay, so income generated by Mrs. X will be clubbed in the hands of Mr. X, and what are the income generated by Mr. Y will be clubbed in the hands of, so Mrs. Y will be clubbed in the hands of Mr. Y. Any questions with respect to this cross transfer? You can expect a transfer, you can expect a question. These are the type of questions, concepts you need to be very clear. Keshavji, Morarji. So in examination, even when I was writing my own IPCC and my own final, few case studies, few case studies in each chapter, like used to by heart like anything. And if it comes in the examination, the first thing in answer sheet will be that a case study only, so that examiner gets a very good impression of it. Okay, so any question with respect to this cross transfer? Manjula Jesha for the depreciation wala, and Madhukant Mehta for one question will come now, and this is the one cross transfer. Okay, so few I mean notably 10 case studies you can by heart, because mostly examiner will ask only on that. Anyone, any question with respect to this cross transfer? I will wait for some time and then we'll move on.
Okay, so this is one question. I'll wait. If you can answer this, it means that you have understood this. So this is again the same case-based study question. Mr. Madan gifted a sum of 6.5 lakh to his brother's wife on this day. On this day, his brother gifted a sum of 5.2 lakh to Mr. Madan's wife. The gifted amounts were invested as a fixed deposit on the by Mrs. Madan and wife of Mr. Madan's brother on this date at 9% interest. Discuss the consequences of the above under the provisions of the Income Tax Act 1961. So now try to understand. This question is also a cross transfer. You try to remember the Keshavji Morarji case study, and one person has transferred 6.5 lakh, another person has transferred 5.2 lakh, right? Whichever is lower, you take the base amount. That will, whatever the income generated on 5.2 lakh will be clubbed in the respective husband's hands, put it simply. Okay, so 6.5 lakh is given by one person to another person, like brother to brother's wife, and he is 5.2 lakh, right? Whichever is lower, that will be clubbed in the hands of the respective husbands. CS Nagasri, I will try. We'll see. So it's based upon the response. We'll see that. So that's what I was saying. 5.2 lakh may whatever the income that you generate out of 5.2 lakh, that will be clubbed. Conversion of self-acquired property into property of Hindu undivided family. So what does this mean? I am son. I am the co-personer of a Hindu undivided family. So my father is the Karta. Okay. So now what I am doing is, because I'm qualified, so I'm doing some job, I'm getting good salary. Out of that, I could have my own property, right? That's my personal property. I can have my own property. I can invest somewhere, or maybe I can do something else. Okay. So out of my own property, I'm transferring it to my HUF's property. So I'm throwing the personally acquired asset from my individual capacity to my father, so that our business will, our business, family's business will grow further. I'm repeating, a co-personer is transferring or converting his self-acquired property. You might say, oh, how come he will have a self-acquired property? Why cannot I have, if I'm qualified for a job and I'm getting a salary, I can make a saving, and out of that I can have my own separate property, right? The separate property I'm transferring it to HUF. Now, should it be clubbed or not? The answer is it should be clubbed in my own hands only. But whenever that HUF goes for a partition, maybe full partition or a partial partition, at that time that house property, assuming that it is 1000 yards of land I transferred from my individual capacity to my HUF. Okay. So now whatever the income that is generated out of that 1000 yards of building or the land, it will be clubbed in the hands of me only. That you can understand very clearly. At some point of time, there would be dispute, there could be partition, would be partition, obviously. So whenever the partition happens, I will get a share of my own land, which I transferred earlier. Also, my wife would also get some part of land, assuming that the 1000 yards, they made it 5 parts. Okay, so each person will get 200 square yards. So I got 200 in my name. So it was my own property, I got it now. And 200 yards of land is also received by my wife. Now, whatever the income that she gets out of the 200 yards, no, that will be clubbed in my hands post partition of the HUF. Okay, anybody, any issue, just let me know, because this is a very tricky provision. If you try to understand it from words, it is little difficult, I would say. This is HUF, this is HUF, one brother, two brother, one brother has a wife, so 1A I'm putting. Second brother is also having a wife, 2A I'm putting. Okay, so now this person A, he has a self acquired property. बोले तो he purchased that property out of his own income. Now what is he doing is, this property is throwing into the common pool of HUF. So is transferring self-acquired property to the HUF property. Now whatever the HUF generates income, no, that will be clubbed in the hands of A only. It will be clubbed in his hands. But now after 2-3 years, okay, so after 2-3 years, there is a partition of HUF. So this 1000 square yards, they made it to 5 parts, one for mother, one for 2 sons and 2 sons ka wives. Okay, so now 5 people are getting 200 separately. 200 separately. So assuming this is, one part is received by A, one part is received by A's wife. Now the question, will the income generated by my brother and my brother's wife or my mother's? No, that will not be clubbed. Only that one A, his wife's, whatever the income she gets out of this 200 yards, that will be clubbed in his own hands. So someone is saying, explain in Telugu. See, I have no issue in explaining Telugu for first thing. And one more thing is that many people are asking in comment section saying that I need this point, that point. I am happy it is reaching to you. But when I am conducting a session, when I am asking you to come, nobody kind of, or very less people are interested in coming to the live. So how do I know which point is difficult for you to explain? If you come for a live session and say that, sir, this point is not clear for me, can you explain it in another example? You give another example, or can you explain in Telugu? I'm okay to do that. But after the video has been ended and then you put one comment, it is not easy for me to again come back again to explain or put it in the chat box. So I'm suggesting very clearly, you make for next 15-20 days, I told this 1 week back, you come live every day, you have any question you ask, then and there itself we will be sorting out that issue. So then you need not live with that doubt in your head. See, if you have any question with respect to this, you ask now only, I'll explain. If you don't like this example, I'll give one more example. If you don't understand in English, I'll explain in Telugu. Or if you don't understand in English also, I'll explain in Hindi. That is also fine with me. But you come to the live, then encourage the faculty also to make more videos. Yeah, so any question with respect to HUF partition, guys? Anyone? ఎవరికైనా ఎక్కడైనా ఈ పోర్షన్లో ఏదైనా డౌట్ ఉందా? ఎనీవన్ ఎనీవేర్ ఈ HUFలో ఏదైనా డౌట్ ఉందా? ఒక పర్సన్, ఒక కొడుకుగా నేను సొంతంగా సంపాదించిన ఆస్తిని నా ప్రాపర్టీ నుంచి మా HUFకి, మా ఫాదర్ HUF ఉంది కదా, అందులోకి ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ చేస్తే అందులో ఆ ప్రాపర్టీ నుంచి వచ్చిన ప్రతి ఇన్కమ్ నాకే క్లబ్ అవుతుంది. ఫస్ట్ థింగ్. సెకండ్ థింగ్, ఇన్ ఫ్యూచర్ HUF ఎప్పుడైతే పార్టీషన్ అయిపోతుందో, పీసెస్ అవుతుందో, నేను ఇచ్చిన ప్రాపర్టీయే మళ్ళీ ముక్కలు అయిపోయి కొంచెం నాకు వస్తుంది, కొంచెం మా వైఫ్కి వస్తుంది, కొంచెం మా బ్రదర్కి, మా బ్రదర్ వైఫ్కి, మా మదర్కి, అందరికి వస్తుంది కదా. అప్పుడు మా వైఫ్కి వచ్చిన పోర్షన్ పైన వచ్చిన ఇన్కమ్లో కూడా నాకే క్లబ్ అవుతుంది. దట్ ఈస్ అ పాయింట్ హియర్. ఎనీవన్ ఎనీ క్వశ్చన్? ఎనీవన్ ఎనీ క్వశ్చన్? Anyone, any question? Or is it too difficult to understand? Jayat Teja, Nagasri, Mukunda, Jacob, that's it. These are the people are participating. Venkatesan, Jyotika. Okay. So let's see any questions, because I feel there could be a doubt on this. ఎవరికైనా ఏమైనా డౌట్ ఉందా ఈ పాయింట్ పైన? అరే I can go ahead. No? Yeah. So now the second thing is income includes losses. I've explained multiple times. When you are clubbing your wife's or husband's income, not just income, if that person is earning a loss, you take that loss. So I'll tell you one example. We started one example, right, wherein my capital was 6 lakhs and I got a loss of 3 lakhs. So my capital has become 3 lakhs, right? And then out of this 3 lakhs, my wife has given 7 lakhs. So it has become 10 lakhs. And this 10 lakhs, I put it in a business and it has generated some profit. Some portion was going to my wife, some portion was coming to me, right? Assuming there is a loss, she can take the loss also into our clubbing provision. So that is the beauty of this. So income includes losses. So this is at a final level. So I'm not expecting that we have final students at the moment. So I'll continue. I'll just try to escape whatever is absolutely at final. We have a question. We'll see how many of you can answer this question. Mrs. E, wife of Mr. F, okay, is a partner in a firm. Her capital contribution. See, this is important, guys. I'm saying this is important. This kind of a question you can expect. Mrs. E, wife of Mr. F, is a partner in a firm. So wife is a partner. Okay. Her capital contribution of the firm as on 1st April 2022 was 5 lakh, out of which 3 lakhs was contributed out of her own source and 2 lakh was contributed out of the gift from husband. So husband 2 lakh rupees gift ఇచ్చాడు, తన దగ్గర నుంచి ఉన్న డబ్బులు 3 lakhs, మొత్తం 5 lakhs తోటి షీ స్టార్టింగ్ ఏ బిజినెస్, అంటే షీఈస్ ఎ పార్ట్నర్ ఇన్ ఎ ఫర్మ్. సో మొత్తం 5 lakhs తను పెట్టింది, షీ టోటలీ కాంట్రిబ్యూటెడ్ 5 lakh. उसमें 3 lakh is her own money, మేబీ వాళ్ళ మదర్ నుంచి రావచ్చు, మేబీ తన ఓన్ అర్న్డ్ మనీ అయి ఉండొచ్చు. 2 lakhs is been received from the husband. So be clear with the question. As further capital was needed by the firm, she further invested 2 lakh on this date out of the funds gifted by her husband. So in between the year, mark this, in between the year, if any capital is coming from the spouse, it will not be considered. I'm repeating this once again, that proportionate what you do, that proportionate calculation should happen based upon the capital existing at the beginning of the year 1/4/2023, okay, or 1/4/2022 for this assessment previous year. So it should be on the beginning of the year, not one day late also there is a delay, the clubbing will not be applicable to that extent. So now he has given how much? He has given another 2 lakh. Already he has given 2 lakh, he is giving 2 lakh one more time. The firm paid interest on capital of 80,000 and share of profit 60,000 for the financial year 22-23. By this time you should be knowing that when a partner is receiving any income from the partnership firm, it is exempt in the hands of the partner. Why? It is firm has already paid the tax on the income. 40B, you remember the section PGBP, we have done it. Whoever is following our sessions, I stressed so much on that. One provision will have interlink with another provision. Okay, if you are paying your salary or remuneration or commission, whatever the name called, by a firm to the partner within the limits prescribed under section 40B, then it is exempt in the hands of the firm, in the hands of the partner. The same way she is receiving interest on capital, one thing, and she is receiving profit, so profit is exempt for the financial year 22-23. Advise Mr. F as to the applicability of the, so I will not be showing the answer, provisions of section 6413 and the manner thereof in respect of the above transaction. So I will wait for a, okay, so if you want, see these are generic provisions and both will get benefited. So I thought of completing all the DT provisions at a final level also, including transfer pricing, which I have done in the past, but it only in Telugu. But unfortunately we are not getting so much of response. Otherwise, non-resident taxation, transfer pricing issues, assessment procedures, appeals, there are a lot of provisions which are there for final. Other than that, these provisions are same for final as well as inter. Okay, so you can watch Jacob, still you will get the understanding of the subject, but other than this you have other things also to sail over. Yeah, coming to this, now the question is, how much will be clubbed in the hands of Mr. F? in the hands of Mr. F, how much will be clubbed and what proportion? I'll just wait for a minute. Let's see how many of you have understood this. Okay, I'll wait for a minute or two because I want the participation, I want the application from your end also. Then only the provisions are really good. See, once you apply a provision in a numerical problem, no, with a proper understanding, the provision you will not forget. We'll see who will answer this. When you do your PGBB problem, no, that 16 marks wala one question, usme there will be a question on this. So we should not escape any provision. Share of profit, how much will club? Share of interest, so answer చెప్పేదెవరు? Who is the one who is going to give the answer? Don't underestimate the applications, guys. In examination may lot of students make mistakes in DT and IDT. They are good with the provisions, but just the application sometimes goes. So my personal suggestion from now also, whoever is trying to prepare it for next May, joke up for you also, with respect to DT and IDT, valuation, customs, import, export, numerical may it should be spot on, then only you can expect marks. If you read 10 times the provision and you reproduce the same words, exactly words in the examination, but apply wrongly for valuation, for import, export and everything, even customs also I'm saying, in GST also valuation is there, you will not be getting the marks. Okay, just as a caution, word of caution is that with respect to customs, GST as well as DT, should not be any mistake with respect to numbers. Words you can use your own general language, how much ever the language that we have, that's fine. Nobody expects the exact word to word from your bare act, but numbers application should be spot on. Who is the one who is giving the answer? I will wait for a minute. Share of profit, it is exempt, so there is no question of clubbing. Now the question of interest. Husband is not the partner, only wife is a partner. That's what we are discussing. Only wife is a partner or anyone, and the capital is being gifted by the spouse. Like if I'm starting my business, the capital is given, or some portion of the capital is given by my wife, or if wife is starting, some portion of the capital is given by husband. Only to that extent the proportionate income should be clubbed in the hands of the either wife or husband. That husband or wife need not be the partner. See, if I am the partner in a business, my wife need not be the partner to attract this clubbing provisions. If I am the partner, that's fine. Whatever the interest I receive, उसमें से एक part it will go to wife. Third, see, wife, she had 3 lakh, and उसमें से okay, her total capital was own 2 lakh plus husband's 3 lakh. So this is 5 lakh on the date of the beginning of the year. In between the year, husband again contributed another and again gifted another 2 lakh. So it has become 7 lakhs. Now the point is, you should not be considering this because this is during the period capital contribution. You forget the proportionate you should be doing only at the beginning of the year. So 5 lakhs mein 2 lakhs is my own, and 3 lakhs is okay, 3 lakhs is my own, this is husband's, right? So now whatever the clubbing should happen only based upon the proportion of the capital at the beginning of the year. So matlab now only at the beginning of the year, during the period 1st to May or somewhere, I have husband has also contributed 2 lakh, this will not be considered. That's what I'm saying. Try to apply. You make a mistake, you learn it, that's fine. Any question now? 32,000 will be clubbed in the hands of husband, and that proportionate you are looking only at the beginning of the year. Clear? Any questions? Can I go to the next one? Can I go to the next one? Anyone? Jaya Teja, Mukunda, anyone? Yes, then in whose hands you are trying to club? So he's a husband, she's a wife, she has started in a partnership firm. So when you are clubbing the income of wife in the hands of husband, so obviously you will see how much he has contributed. He has contributed 2 lakh. What was the capital of the beginning of the year? 5 lakh. That should be your ratio, no? Clubbing बोले तो how much has husband has given, that should be the basis, right? Yes, answer is yes, Jacob. Hello, Sai Krishna. Okay, so I'm going to the next one. If you have any questions, please let me know. There is one last question. If you have any question, just let me know. Now it's clear, huh? Okay. So we will go to the next chapter, guys. We'll go to the next one. That is concept of Setoff and carry forward of losses. There are few provisions. For next to 15 minutes, I'll be saying everything at once. Have patience and listen carefully each and every point. Once you complete everything, then you start asking questions. Till the time, please don't look into the comment section only for next to 10 minutes. Okay. There is something called inter-source adjustment. Inter-source adjustment ka matlab, I have a business of teaching now. So it's my business 1. I also have a business of consultancy, advisory, accounting services. I do it. So that is business number 2. So I might have income here, I might have a loss here. Can I set off with these 2? Yes, I can do that. So that is called inter-source. Within the head only, inter-source. Okay. 10 minutes, give me the 100% attentions. You have 5 heads. Salary 1, post property 2, PGBP, capital gain, other source. Salary mein you will not have loss. You will never come across the situation there. I worked for a company and I got a loss. It is not possible, right? So forget about this. Will not have any much implications with that. Okay. So coming to house property, I am having a two house properties. One is self-occupied property. One is let out property. So if I'm taking a loan, and I'm paying interest on that, so for self-occupied property, I might have a loss. For let out property, I might have a gain because I'm giving it to someone else. I'm receiving the rental on that. So can I adjust these two, yes, I can do that. So inter-source is permissible in house property. PGBB may, just now I said one is teaching business, one is real accounting business. Can I set off? Can I, don't use the word set off, can I adjust this inter-source? Yes, you can do it. Capital gain also, it's a possible. You have one house, you sold one building at a loss, you have another building at a gain. Can you do inter-source? Yes, you can do it. Again, that's what I'm saying, 10 minutes you listen completely. So inter-source is always possible. Other source also, inter-source is always possible with some exceptions. Exception is long-term capital loss should be set off only against long-term capital gain. I'm repeating, long-term capital loss should be set off against only long-term capital gain. But coming to short-term capital loss can be set off against long-term capital gain as well as short-term capital gain. I'll write it in a very lucid manner here. These are the exceptions. Within the source only, like within one head, you have different sources. Is there any doubt in that? Can you adjust between these two sources also? It's always possible with some exceptions. One exception is long-term capital loss should be adjusted against long-term capital gain only. But if it is a short-term capital loss, you can adjust against short-term capital gain as well as long-term capital gain. See why they are not allowing long-term to short-term? Just understand the consequences. Long-term capital gain is taxed at a lesser rate. Short-term, it will be at your slab rate. Okay, if it is at a slab rate, you will be end up paying more tax. So that is the reason why long-term, and the amount is also huge in long-term. So after 10 years, 15 years, after 7, 8 years, if you are selling a land and building, you will be getting huge, right? So that government doesn't want to miss the revenue on that. So long-term capital loss can be set off against only long-term capital gain. Short-term capital loss can be set off against either short-term capital gain or long-term capital gain. This should be on your fingertips. Next, speculative loss. We have discussed enough in our PGBP chapter that we have something called speculative losses. So if it is a speculative loss, that should be set off against only speculative gain, and the period for which it can be carried forward is only 4 years. Speculative loss can be set off against only speculative gain. So what do you mean by that? See, I am having a speculative business also. I'm also having my teaching business and as well as my accounting business. So if I'm having gain in this genuine business, or I cannot say genuine, but this is important for the country also. This is a main business, so I'm getting a gain, but I'm having any speculative loss. That loss I cannot set off with my teaching business, or that loss I cannot set off with the gains of my accounting business. That is not possible. Speculative loss cannot be set off against normal non-speculative business. Speculative loss cannot be set off against non-speculative gain. This, keep it in mind. Who asked you to do the speculation? You have done it out of your own passion. Because you have more money, you have done it. If there is a gain, that's fine. See, in teaching I am getting a loss, but speculating I am getting a gain. Can I adjust this? Yes, it is possible. So it is like he is my son. If he is earning, if he is doing well, father says no, hey, mera bacha hai, to like he take the credit of his kid. But if he is like, the kid is not performing well in school or something is not very active, then he's like, okay, no, he's not like me, he's more like his mother only. So he'll not take the credit of whatever his behavior. He'll say that because of society or because of some other reason is not performing, but he'll not take the blame for that. Same way, speculative may if you have a gain, and non-speculative may if you have a loss, yes, you can adjust it. But speculative may you have a loss, other may you have a gain, no, you carry forward, next year you set off, that's it. If you have any other speculative business, you set off with that business, but don't come and adjust with your non-speculative business. And you have other thing called loss from activity of owning and maintaining horse races. This is also will come under your 74. owning and maintaining horse races is kind of a business only. Okay, so that not like you are putting money there, it's you are doing a business, like that is owning and maintaining horse races. It's not race horses, it is race horses, it's not horse races. You're not putting money or like a ticket. It's like you are only purchasing one a few race horses, and you're only feeding that animal, and you are only doing everything, right? That's like a punter. Okay, so here if you are owning the horse and maintaining, in that you are getting a business loss, that should be set off only against that income only. If you cannot set off with that income, you carry it forward and set off, but don't take this loss into other non specified or non speculative genuine business. Like I'm also owning 2 horses, I'm maintaining for some this kind of a business only. If I'm getting a loss there, I'm not winning any prizes, to be simple. If I'm getting any losses there, that loss I cannot set off with my teaching business or my accounting business. Okay, next, losses from specified business. Section 35 AD, we have spent enough time. There are 16 businesses like cold storage or cold storage or warehousing of agricultural produce, cross country oil or bee waxing, or 2-star hotel, or 100 beds patient ke liye. We have a lot of other things, right? So as far as I remember, I told you. So that where we had a benefit of debiting the entire expenditure. If you are starting a hospital with 100 patient beds, obviously your cost will be huge. When you're debiting your loss, you end up getting a loss only, right? When you're debiting so much of expenditure, you'll be getting a loss. So because I'm giving you more benefits, you will be getting loss. Instead of debiting the depreciation, you're debiting the entire cost. So that loss cannot be set off with other businesses. You take any politician for time being, they would be having some hospitals, they would be having some hotels also, and they would be having some, I don't want to take the names for obvious reasons, they would be having some normal businesses also. So because they got more benefits, more debit, there is a loss, right? This you can carry forward for n number of years, unlimited number of years, infinite period of time. But this loss, specified business called loss, you cannot set off with non-speculative, non-specified business. See, someone is having a manufacturing plant, that is a non-specified, non-speculative business, and someone is having a hospital who is eligible under section 35 AD specified business. So if you are having a loss here, this loss cannot be set off here, but otherwise possible. So manufacturing business mein you got a loss, but specified business mein you got a gain. This loss can be set off here, but not vice versa. Okay, so any questions so far with respect to inter-source adjustment? We'll come to this also, inter-head adjustment, from house property to income from house property to income from capital gain, or other source to salary, or business to salary, house property to some capital gain. Is it possible or not? We will check in some time. But before that, you have any question with respect to inter-source adjustment? See, a lot of people asked in the comment section that we want the Setoff and carry forward. That is the reason why I'm very firm to complete this chapter today only. Even though we have less response, I'm not stopping in between. You have any questions, anyone, or can I go to the next one? One, two, three. Inter-source me, anyone, any question? We will be solving the numbers provided that you come up with some questions, guys. Okay, if it is nobody is there, I will definitely not be waiting for any answer. Okay, so I'll just be explaining the provision and let it go. Now we'll go to the inter-head adjustments. Yeah, so now we'll go to the inter-head. Head का मतलब, you know, right, 5 heads. एक head से दूसरे head तक लेके जाना. So okay, you are taking from one head to another head. When you will take only when there is a loss. Okay, I'm repeating. Salary mein you will not have a loss. PGBP mein there can be a loss. Horse property mein when you have interest portion there can be a loss. Capital gain mein there can be a loss. Other source mein there can be a loss. These all businesses will come under other source also sometimes. So that can be a loss. Except salary, you end up having loss in other sources, other heads also. Now the question is there any restriction? First, loss under any head other than capital gain, where the net results of the computation under any head of income other than capital gain is a loss, the assessee can set off losses against his income assessable for that assessment year under any other head including capital gain. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? If you are having a loss in the capital gain head, as I told, I'll be repeating multiple times. It's more of a repetition, but at the end you will get the crux of it. Salary, house property, PGBP, income from capital gain, income from other source. So there I told one point. Long-term capital loss can be offset only with a long-term capital gain, no other thing. Short-term capital loss can be offset with short-term capital gain or long-term capital gain. What does that mean? Only बोले तो if there is any loss in the capital gain head, you cannot look into other head only. You cannot look into salary. You cannot look into house property. You cannot look into PGBP. You cannot look into income from other source. See, numbers is easy to solve. But thing is that it should be, the basis should be very strong. In case in examination, if you're asking yourself, you should be like, no, aisa ho hi nahi sakta. You should be very sure on that. I'm explaining one more time. When I said inter-source, I use the word long term is only with a long term. Short term is with a long term and short term. So iska matlab, it cannot go out of its home only. Okay, there are two kids in a house. Okay, if the elder is having any issue, he'll go to the younger is having any issue, he'll go to the elder. That's it. They'll not go outside. Same way, income from capital gains से जो भी आपको loss आता है, you will not even think about any other head. So that is the reason why, other than income from capital gain, see, if you are having a loss, salary mein you will not have a loss. If you are having a loss from income from house property, you can go to PGBP. You can go to income from capital gain. You can go to income from other source. If you have any PGBP, see, exceptions are there. Specified में specified से ही जाना, speculative में speculative ही जाना, that is there. You within that boundary only you think like that. House property में you can go to PGBP, you can go to income from capital gain, you can go to other source also. PGBP में you will go to salary tak you cannot go. Okay, you will go here, you will go here, you will go here. So anything is possible other than capital gain. Okay, so if you are getting a loss in the capital gain, it should stay there only. That's it. Other than that, you can go to other heads. Okay, I'll solve with a number also if anybody is still not clear with this. If you are getting a loss in income from capital gain, it will not look into other heads. But if there is any loss in any other head, they will look into capital gain also. See, the reason you understand, boss. Income from capital gain, they are taxable at a specified rate. Others are going at a slab rates or 30% bracket if it is a company. And this is at a slab rate. So how come the loss from others will be set up with this? How come the government will be allowing that? So it is not possible. Next, loss under the head PGBP, it can go to any head other than salary. Understand with the context. I'm having this business now. Okay. So someone was asking this. I'll repeat very quickly. Yeah, no issues, Rajesh. Your title is very funny. I'll explain this in a very short way. See, inter-source ante endante ఒకటే హెడ్ కింద వేరే వేరే సోర్సెస్. అంటే ఎగ్జాంపుల్ హౌస్ ప్రాపర్టీ నాకు ఒకటి హైదరాబాద్ ఉంది, ఒకటి బెంగళూరులో ఉంది. బిజినెస్ నాకు టీచింగ్ ఉంది, లేకపోతే అకౌంటింగ్ సర్వీసెస్ కోసం ఒక బిజినెస్ ఉంది. క్యాపిటల్ గెయిన్‌లో కూడా నాకు ఒక హౌస్ ప్రాపర్టీ ముంబైలో ఉంది, ఒకటి ఢిల్లీలో ఉంది. లైక్ దట్. అదర్ సోర్స్‌లో కూడా రకరకాలుగా ఉన్నాయి. సో ఇంటర్ సోర్స్ పాసిబుల్. ఎక్సెప్షన్ ఏంటి అంటే లాంగ్ టర్మ్ క్యాపిటల్ లాస్ ఓన్లీ లాంగ్ టర్మ్ క్యాపిటల్ గెయిన్‌తోనే సెటప్ చేయాలి. షార్ట్ టర్మ్ క్యాపిటల్ లాస్ షార్ట్ టర్మ్ క్యాపిటల్ గెయిన్ ప్లస్ లాంగ్ టర్మ్ క్యాపిటల్ గెయిన్ రెండిటితో అవుతుంది. స్పెక్యులేటివ్ లాస్ ఓన్లీ స్పెక్యులేటివ్ గెయిన్‌తోనే చేయాలి. ఇంకెక్కడ మనం చేయలేము. ఇంకొకటి ఓనింగ్ అండ్ మెయింటైనింగ్ ఆపరేషన్స్ ఓన్లీ ఆ గెయిన్‌తోనే చేస్తాం. పక్కదానికెళ్ళు. ఇవన్నీ ఏంటంటే లైక్ బహిష్కరించిన బిజినెసెస్. హూ ఆస్క్డ్ యూ టు ఇన్వాల్వ్ ఇన్ ద స్పెక్యులేటివ్? Who asked you to do this owning and maintaining horse is not very important, right? So government is indirectly discouraging you. So speculative loss only speculative gain తోనే అవుతుంది. Owning and maintaining losses అది కూడా owning and maintaining gain తోనే అవుతుంది. అండ్ లాంగ్ టర్మ్ క్యాపిటల్ గెయిన్ షార్ట్ లాంగ్ టర్మ్ క్యాపిటల్ లాస్ లాంగ్ టర్మ్ క్యాపిటల్ గెయిన్ తోనే అవుతుంది. షార్ట్ టర్మ్ క్యాపిటల్ లాస్ షార్ట్ టర్మ్ ఆర్ లాంగ్ టర్మ్ రెండితోటే అవుతుంది. ఓకే. అండ్ స్పెసిఫైడ్ బిజినెస్ మనం సెక్షన్ 35ADలో మాట్లాడుకున్నాం కదా. ఓన్లీ 35AD. సో సెక్షన్ 35ADలో ఉన్న బిజినెసెస్లో ఉన్న లాస్ని అదే దాంతో అవుతుంది. ఎగ్జాంపుల్ వీ హ్యావ్ ఎ గెయిన్ ఇన్ నాన్ స్పెసిఫైడ్ బిజినెస్, లాస్ ఇన్ స్పెసిఫైడ్ బిజినెస్. రెండు ఆఫ్సెట్ అవుతాయి అంటే కావు. లాస్ ఇన్ నార్మల్ బిజినెస్, గెయిన్ ఇన్ స్పెసిఫైడ్ బిజినెస్ అవుతుందంటే అవుతుంది. ఓకే. అండ్ కమింగ్ టు ఇంటర్ హెడ్, ఇక్కడ కొంచెం ఫోకస్ చేయండి రాజేష్. యూ ఫోకస్ హియర్. ఇక్కడ ఏంటి అంటే ఇన్కమ్ ఫ్రమ్ క్యాపిటల్ గెయిన్లో అల్టిమేట్గా నీకు లాస్ వచ్చింది అనుకుందాం. నువ్వు పక్క హెడ్ని చూడకు. బ్లైండ్లీ కీప్ ఇట్ ఇన్ ఎ థంబ్ రూల్. ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ గెటింగ్ ఎ లాస్ ఇన్ ఇన్కమ్ ఫ్రమ్ క్యాపిటల్ గెయిన్, డోంట్ లుక్ ఇన్ టు ఎనీ అదర్ హెడ్. దట్స్ ఇట్. దట్ విల్ డై దేర్ ఓన్లీ ఆర్ ఇట్ విల్ గో టు నెక్స్ట్ ఇయర్. దట్స్ ఇట్. క్యారీ ఫార్వర్డ్ అండ్ సెట్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్ ద ఇన్కమ్ ఫ్రమ్ క్యాపిటల్ గెయిన్ ఓన్లీ. ఓకే. సో ఇన్కమ్ ఫ్రమ్ క్యాపిటల్ గెయిన్లో లాస్ వస్తే పక్క హెడ్కి వెళ్ళకూడదు. కానీ పక్క హెడ్లో లాస్ వస్తే ఇన్కమ్ ఫ్రమ్ క్యాపిటల్ గెయిన్కి రావచ్చు. ఓకే. సో మనకు కష్టం వస్తే పక్క వాళ్ళకి హెల్ప్ చేస్తాము. కానీ పక్క వాళ్ళకి కష్టం వస్తే పక్క వాళ్ళకి కష్టం వస్తే మనం దగ్గరకు పోము. అలాంటి కొన్ని కేటగిరీస్ ఉంటావు కదా. అట్లాగే ఇన్కమ్ ఫ్రమ్ క్యాపిటల్ గెయిన్ ఏంటంటే పక్క వానికి కష్టం వస్తే వాడు హెల్ప్ చేస్తాడు. కానీ వాడికి కష్టం వస్తే పక్కవాడు కూడా చూడడు. దట్ ఈస్ ఏ పాయింట్. ఐ విల్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ దిస్ వన్స్ అగైన్. ఇన్కమ్ ఫ్రమ్ క్యాపిటల్ గెయిన్ ఇస్ సచ్ ఎ హెడ్. ఇట్ విల్ హెల్ప్ అదర్ పీపుల్స్ ప్రాబ్లమ్. బట్ ఇఫ్ యూ ఆర్ హ్యావింగ్ ఎనీ ప్రాబ్లమ్ ఇట్ ఇన్కమ్ ఫ్రమ్ క్యాపిటల్ గెయిన్, no other head will come and help you out. So this is like a good fellow. If he is having problem like loss, other heads you can use it. Okay. If you are having a loss here, if you are having a like other heads are having a problem, other income from capital gain will help. But if income from capital gain is having a problem, no other head will help it. Okay, that's how you remember. That's one point. The second point I was trying to explain is any other head is again possible. Income from house property, you can come to PGBP. House property, you come to capital gain. House property, you will come to other source. PGBP, you will go here, you will come here, you will come here. Anything is again possible. Income from house property lo loss వస్తే you can go to salary also. So inter head లో వెళ్తప్పుడు one condition is if you are having a business loss, you can set off only you can set off against any other head except salary. ఎందుకో లాజిక్ అర్థం చేసుకోండి. Now try to understand with the context little bit. Maybe I'm going little fast. Understand the context here. I am working for a company. I am receiving a salary of assuming 50,000 rupees per month. Okay. I also have a business. Okay. Generally it is not allowed, but anyway I'm doing it. Example. So I'm doing accounting services also. If I'm getting that loss, no, what I would do, I would try to offset with my salary income. Okay. If that is permissible in India, everybody will come up with a solution that they're having a salary income and again they indirectly invested in a business that is getting a loss. So that loss they'll offset with a salary. So nobody would be ready to pay tax on the salary income because they always try to start a business or show like a fake business also. Then they try to show a loss. That loss they will offset with the salary. That is the reason why business may, if you have a loss, no, you look into any other head but don't come to salary. Again, if you have a loss in PGBP, you look into any other head but not salary. PGBP లో లాస్ ఉంటే ఏ హెడ్ కైనా చూడు బట్ సాలరీ దగ్గరికి రాకు. ఓకే. అగైన్ లాస్ అండర్ ద హెడ్ క్యాపిటల్ గెయిన్, దట్స్ వాట్ ఐ సెడ్ ఇట్. ఇఫ్ దెర్ ఇస్ అ లాస్ అండర్ ద హెడ్ క్యాపిటల్ గెయిన్, no head will come for rescue. So they cannot use any other head. If it is income from house property, if you are having a loss, no, that loss you can set off with any other head, but maximum is only 2 lakh rupees. Maximum is only 2 lakh rupees. See, in case if you are having more loss in your income from house property, maximum is only 2 lakh, because self-occupied property is there, let-out property is there, here you are interest paying, there you are interest paying. This might end up becoming more than 2 lakh. Even that is more than 2 lakhs also. Anyway, that is not allowed. Maximum 2 lakhs only allowed. So maximum 2 lakhs only will be allowed to be offset with any other head. And speculative loss may you will do only with the speculative gain. Okay. And specified loss may you will do only with the specified gain. Maintaining and owning and maintaining horse races, again that you will do with only maintaining and horse races. Now any question, please let me know. I will wait at each junction. See, Rajesh, any doubt? Emana doubt unte adugu. Edanna point ardham kakunte I'll explain one more time. We will solve it. First, understand the and then come to the numbers. Any questions, anyone? Any questions, anyone? Charging అయిపోయింది. See, if you have a question, just say if you have a question. Otherwise, you say it's not a question. సో నో క్వశ్చన్ అంటున్నావు కాబట్టి మనం ఈ సమ్స్ చేద్దాం. How many of you can answer these questions? Very roughly I will try to explain. Income from salary computed. So whenever there is a computed, no, don't do again that standard deduction wala. Computed bolto, that is the ultimate thing. Income from salary is there. Loss from self-occupied property, loss from let-out property. So there are two sources. I have one self-occupied property, one let-out property. Both are I am having loss, right? So both I can combine, right? So in examination also, first thing you can combine these two, because first you have to do inter-source, then you come to the inter-head. So now it will become 2,22,000. I am good with the maths. You know that how good I am with the maths. Very poor. Okay. So 2,22,000. 2,22,000 is the ultimate income from house property. See, it's not about who is giving the answer. It's about how well you are applying the provision. That's what I'm very particular about it. Business loss 1,20,000. FD bolo to income from other source. You know this. 85,000. So first question is I am asking you. I will not give you the answer. Loss from house property, can it be set off with salary? Loss from house property, can it be set off with the salary? Yes or no? I'm not giving you the answer. Yes or no? Application, that's it. Was there any condition? Was there any condition like loss from house property should not be set off with a salary? Yes, there was, but not from house property. It was from salary. So iska matlab ye 2,22,000 I can offset with the 4,20,000, but there was one condition. The condition was maximum 2 lakhs only I can offset. So I can say salary mein I am getting 4,20,000 as in salary, and isme 2 lakhs only I can use it. So 2 lakhs I will offset. So this will become 2,20,000. See, I need participation, guys. That's how I will be solving the remaining questions also. Don't think I'll get anything from that. It's just that I feel that I'm connecting you properly. Now this issue is resolved. This issue is resolved. This issue is resolved. Now you have only two issues. Like we are bifurcating the entire issue. You have income from other source may gain, business may loss. was there any condition that salary income cannot be offset with income from other source? Sir, you didn't tell, sir. I didn't tell you what is possible. I told you what is not possible. I बोला था provision. I told you. I told you what is not possible. What is not possible? Salary से और PGBP loss से you cannot go to salary. But salary business में there was a loss. Business में there was a loss. Can you offset with the income from other source? There was no restriction, right? Yes, you can do that. So I can say income from other source 85,000. उसमें से business loss I will offset 85,000 and this will become 0. तो इसमें business में I am getting a loss of 1,20,000, right? 1,20,000 में only 85,000 I offset. So remaining 35,000 I will carry forward to the next assessment year and I will offset with only business. See, one point I would like to mention very clearly. In the current year, you have a possibility. Can I go to that head? Can I offset with this head? But once you take it to the next year, no, within the same head only you have to set off. I'll tell you one more time. If I'm having a loss in income from house property, can I offset with my salary? Is it possible? Yes, you offset. Can I offset with my BGBP? Is it possible? Yes, I can offset. But if I take it to the next year, no, next year I don't have an option to look for other heads. You have to look into the same head only. I'm repeating, carry forward होने के बाद में you will only offset with the same head only. You will not look into the other head. Okay, so now 2 lakhs only you have offset, so 22,000 you can carry it forward and you can set off with the same head. And coming to this 35,000 from business loss, next year you will set off with only business head, nothing else. Any question? See, answer all of whoever has answered, your answer is good only. But my stress is so much on this point. Numerical में किसी हालत में हमको गलती नहीं होना. We should not make any mistake with the numbers. Provision, depending upon your capacity, you write it. But numbers though ultimately should be proper. Any question, anyone with respect to this? I will wait for 30 seconds. I know a few people are watching, then show some enthusiasm, guys. How much loss can be carried forward under income from house property? 22,000 will be income from house property, 22,000 will be carried forward. Under business loss mein you will carry 35,000. That will be carried forward with respect to head. Don't club all what has to be carried forward. Only respect to that head it will be carried forward. Only with respect to business you will carry forward. It has to be head specific. Reason is that you will come there for few items it is only 4 years, for few items it is 8 years, for few items it is infinite, like specified business mein you will carry forward for ultimate, like unlimited period of time, unabsorbed depreciation, unlimited period, speculative only 4 years. You have different, right? So that is the reason why. And if you happen to be in a section 80, we have chapter C, no, 80 IA, 80 IB, 80 IC, they have different periods. So while you are carrying forward, you have to do it separate section wise, head wise. Whether loss carried forward should be mentioned in our, yes, it should be mentioned. You have to mention in your answer. 22,000 which you could not be set off with any other head in the current financial year or current previous year needs to be carried forward and set off subsequently over a period of 8 assessment years. That you have to mention in your answer. Anyone, any question? Anyone, any question so far? See, ఎవరికైనా ఏమైనా అర్థం కాకపోతే just let me know the exact point which is not clear for you. See, instead of me repeating the entire story one more time, you just tell me ఈ point అర్థం కాలేదు sir, just pinpoint which area is not so clear, that area I will explain. Okay, so that's fine. How many years can be carried forward? 8 years. That's what we are about to read it. 8 years. Carry forward and set off of losses from house property. See, it is not like 8 for everything. Again, depending upon the nature, that's what we are going to do it now. Depending upon the nature, it will be there. For house property, it can be carried forward, it can be set off with any other head in that year, maximum of 2 lakh rupees. The unabsorbed loss will be carried forward to the following assessment years to be set off against the income from the head, income from house property only. You underline this. Nobody will ask you theoretical question, but understand from your end. In the current year in which you are getting a loss, no, you are looking into other heads. But once you are forward to the next year, you are setting it off only with that particular head only. This is to be very clear. That is the reason why when you are filing your return of income, I mean, it's all system generated. I mean, it's not like olden days. You need to know when it was incurred, how many years you still have all this. That's the reason why people do tax planning before filing the return of income. It's not like simply you click and do it. So which is exhausting first, or you can plan it so that you don't make anything exhausted, something like that. Okay. So for time being, maximum 2 lakhs only you will set off with any other head. And if you cannot do it, you will be carrying it forward and setting it off only with that head. And when you are carrying it forward, you will do it for 8 assessment years, like next year, and then 7 more years. Okay. And if it is a business loss, if it is a speculative business, only 4 years. Other than that, you will be doing it for a period of 8 years. 8 assessment years ke liye you will be doing it. And there is one more important concept, guys. Person who incurred the loss alone is entitled to carry forward and set off the loss. And as you said that you are also CFNL, this is important for CFNL only. CFNL only. See, last year I have a house property loss. So now I'm having a house property gain. So I'm carrying it forward and setting it off. This is understood. But when it comes to business, no, whatever the business loss that you have in the current year, next year if the business has to claim it, it has to be having the same person. Continuity in the ownership should be there. There are few exceptions unless it is otherwise than by inheritance. If it is by inheritance, it's okay. But other than that, I'm having a business now. As I just said, right, I'm having this accounting consultancy. So I started few years back. I'm incurring losses. So as per PGBP income, as per income tax, also I'm filing return of income, by the way. So I'm showing all losses. Now I'm just vacating that place. So next person cannot simply carry forward these losses and set off with his gain. That is not possible. Sir, we have somewhere read it. People buy another businesses who are having a losses so that they can offset that losses with their gain. Yes, but we have section 47. You remember that there are so many conditions for that. When proprietor is converting into firm, or no, firm is getting converted into LLP, or when there is a business acquisition, or there is a demerger, section 47, there are so many provisions, right? Those conditions has to be satisfied, meaning all assets and liabilities should be transferred. 50% of the partner should remain the same. They should continue to do the same business for over a period of 5 years. You remember all this we have discussed all this in capital gain chapter, and this is exclusively important for final students. If you satisfy those conditions, it's fine. Otherwise, whatever the loss incurred by one business cannot simply be carried forward with the next business. Someone is taking this business forward. No, not possible. The condition specified there has to be satisfied. Then only the next person can carry forward these losses. Okay. And if that condition is satisfied, you can carry it forward for 8 assessment years. And don't worry, guys. Nobody will ask you a theoretical question. They will come up with the numbers only. But this provision has to be applied properly. And there is a concept of rehabilitation of business under section 33B. So what you mean by this is there are certain conditions. Rehabilitation business bole to, you discontinue your business for time being if you are getting a lot of losses and you're not able to go further, like as per Sikh Industrial Act. Okay. So as per any other act for time being in force, I'm just giving one example. So I am running one factory and it has been in losses for so many years. So I'm like, I stopped it. Maybe in Telugu states only we are seeing that we are rehabilitating the sugar factory, which was important for the local people, but because of losses they stopped it long back. But as per some act, now the government is giving the funds and they are reviving the business. So now 8 years might have been elapsed because they might have stopped their business long back. 15 years back they might have stopped, or maybe 10 years back they might have stopped. Now as per some act they are rehabilitating the business, right? So now in that case, whatever the loss pending for that business at that time when they were discontinuing the business, the same will be calculated from now 8 years. Okay, this is generally when you incur a loss, it has to be 8 years from the date of incurring the loss. But in only for this specified rehabilitation businesses, just like reviving the sick or dead business, they're giving an option that whatever you had incurred when you are continuing the business, all will be calculated from now 8 years. Not so important at inter level. If you happen to be like that, you can ignore. But for rehabilitation business for a final level student, this is not so important. But if they ask one more question also, you can answer this. So now we are solving another question, guys. Another question. So it depends on the business. 100%. You forgot chapter 6 deduction when we are starting. Section 80 was the first thing that I was saying. If there is a loss, 100% you have to file the return of income. A lot of people don't know. They are like, okay, because of COVID, because of something, I didn't file my return of income. I'm getting a lot of losses, but when I'm earning the income, government is asking me tax. That was your mistake. You could have asked someone, maybe a CA article student or maybe CA inter or final student. You should be filing your return of income. It's a loss, let it be loss. You file the return of income. When you file later, whenever you are getting a profit, that loss you can offset, set off. The compulsory thing is that you need to file your return of income. Only exceptions where you can escape filing the return of income is when you are getting a loss from income from house property, or when you are getting unabsorbed depreciation. These are only two exceptions. Other than that, every time it is suggested that you file the return of income on time. There are, like, when we do the MAT provisions, hopefully people get good response. I will be doing the MAT provisions also. It is important that you need to file the return of income on time. Otherwise, there are certain benefits that you will lose it. Understanding deductions chapter me. Very quickly, I'll take you there. This is deduction chapter. Furnishing the return of income on or before the due date is mandatory for claiming the deduction under chapter 6A or any loss. Loss I have not given. Yeah, here it's given. No deduction under this provision will be allowed if the deduction has not been filed. Okay, so it is 100% important that you need to file your return of income. And one more thing, earlier, I mean, I might be confusing you. There was a provision for specified business. It is not required to file the return of income in time, but that was omitted, which means that even for a specified business also you need to file the return of income. I think like 3 to 4 years back there was some amendment. Yeah, so this is the question. Let's see how many of you can answer. I know there are 4 or 5 people are very serious. It's a challenge, guys. Okay, it's a challenge for you also. For you, no, you have to file it on time. You are getting income from salary 50,000 computed बोले तो standard deduction का you need not worry about it. Income from house property 24,000. Income from business non-speculative. Income from speculative business, this is also loss. Short-term capital gain, short-term capital loss, long-term capital gain. I'm just giving you a hint, guys. I'm just giving you a hint because these are all two under same head, right? You think about these two once. And these are all two from business, right? You think these two once. I'm not giving you answer, I'm just giving you a hint. In examination, they will be giving 5-6 line items, right? We don't know where to start. Within the head, first you think. These two you think once. This you think once. And income from house property loss. Income from house property, can it go to any other head? You think, is it yes or no? I'm not giving you answer. And salary is fine. So I'll wait for a couple of minutes. Let's see how many of you can answer it. It's a challenge for me, to be honest. It's a break for me. Okay. If you solve the answer, it's a break for my throat. I'm just giving you a hint. In examination mein think like that. Out of the total question, within the same head you think once. Short term capital loss, long term capital gain to set off cheyocha leda. Short term capital loss, long term gain to cheyocha leda. Just give me the answer yourself. Yes or no. Entire house property loss can be set off against salary. So house property 24 వచ్చింది. So you give one answer, Jacob. That's good. This is possible. So 50,000 tha. Now you are reducing 24,000. So 26,000 will be coming in the outer column. Presentation I'm not doing here because you are the best judge. I will wait for your answer. No, yes or no? Nahi. Short term capital gain, long term chest, like how much will come in the outer column? It's a loss. Short term capital loss, long term capital gain. Yes and antunaru, which means that 4,000 is still loss. So now you are having short term capital loss. So if short term capital loss 4,000 undi kada. Now there is a short term capital gain loss of 4,000, right? Can it be set off with the salary? Can it be set off with the house property? House property la first of all akadiki loss e vachindi. First the question is short term capital loss ni salary toti offset cheyochu. Can I offset this with the 26,000? Yes or no? Short term capital loss 4,000 ni short term capital loss 4,000 can I offset with the salary? See, don't worry if it is a wrong answer, guys. I'm telling you multiple times. These are all like gathering friends and solving few problems. Okay, nobody is judging anyone. I'm not judging anyone. Nobody is judging you also. It is the place where you know what you stand. See, 4,000 ni 26,000 to off set off cheyocha. So Mukunda is given one answer. Yes or no? Jacob, what is your answer? I think yes, it's better to set off against business loss than short term. It's better to set off against business. Business లో అసలు గెయిన్ లేదు కదా. There is no gain only in this question. I'm not asking in general. Here you are having salary 26,000, income from house property you already offset there. Now PGBP you are getting loss from two heads. Okay, now short term capital loss 4,000. My question is, can you offset this with a salary gain? No. ఇందాక చెప్పాను, క్యాపిటల్ గెయిన్లో లాస్ వస్తే పక్క హెడ్ వాడు పట్టించుకోడు. మంచి ఈజ్ ఎ గుడ్ ఫెలో. ఇఫ్ ఈజ్ హ్యావింగ్ ఎ లాస్, నో అదర్ హెడ్ విల్ కమ్ ఫర్ హిస్ రెస్క్యూ. బట్ ఇఫ్ దేర్ ఈజ్ ఎ లాస్ అండర్ ఎనీ అదర్ హెడ్, you can offset with a short term capital gain. I'm repeating once again. Short term capital loss is a good fellow. Short term capital gain is a good fellow. If he is having any problem, no head will come for rescue. No head will come for its usage. So this cannot be offset with the salary. Capital gain lo loss vaste ఏ head కిందకి వెళ్ళకూడదు. కాబట్టి this will be carried forward for the next assessment year and can be set off against the income from capital gain only. Now the question is, you are having a loss in the business head. That business head, can it go to salary? Can it offset with the salary? Yes or no? You are having a loss in the PGBP. Be it specified, be is not specified. Speculative, not speculative. Can it go to salary? When I was reading the section, I was reading it properly. What I said it, if that is allowed in India, everybody who is working for a company, who is a salaried employee, would start their own business and show a loss and offset with a salary. Government does not allow that. Government want taxes. That is the reason why business में जो भी loss आया, be it specific, non-specific, specified, non-specified, it cannot come to salary. So even this 24,000 and 6,000 both cannot come to salary. See, specified business का loss can be carried forward and set off with only specified. Non-specified का loss, it can be carried forward and set off with a non-specified only, but it cannot. Yes, Jacob, not just a specified business. Any business loss cannot touch the salary. Salary is like, government is like, I want salary. Only house property you set off and give it to me. No other loss you set off with a salary. That's it. Any question so far in this question? See, it's more about discussing the concepts, okay? Not about completing a portion or something like that. Anybody would like to have any question on this? I'm going to the next question. There are few more questions which I would like to touch upon today only. Anyone? Any question with respect to this in this question? Good night. Okay. Okay, good question, Sarah. Okay. So we will go to, and your answer is right, 26,000. Someone said, I think Mukunda, but I was just giving more explanation so that the concepts are really embedded in our head. See, there is something called carry forward. Not one more. There are so many questions. I'll solve all this. Just stay with me and stay with me and participate. That's it. There are a lot of questions. Depending upon your response, we'll solve a lot of questions. Yeah. So this provision, carry forward and set off of accumulated business losses and unabsorbed depreciation in certain cases of amalgamation demerger. This one thing I will come back today only, but after solving few questions, because it is exclusively at a final level. So I don't want everyone to get disturbed, but we will be solving this also. Okay. So this we will be solving little later, like amalgamating company having some loss. Amalgamated company, can it carry forward? Yes, it can do that. There are certain conditions that are more specific to the final. We'll solve after some time. There are some conditions. What are those conditions? I will talk a bit later. Yeah. So coming to section 73, set off and losses, set off and carry forward and set off and losses from speculative business. As I said multiple times, so it is more of a repetitive only. Specified business may, if you are having a loss, it should be set off with only specified gain. Nothing, don't look into other thing. But speculative business may, if you are having any gain, that you can use it to set off with the losses from other non-specified business. And if there is any loss, you can carry it forward for 4 years. Normal business 8 years, normal business 8 years, speculative business 4 years, specified business unlimited time. Repeating, section 35 AD, speculative specified business is there. No, that's 16 line items. That all those items, all those businesses, you can carry it forward for unlimited time. Okay, there is no limit on that. But for speculative, 4 years. Normal, non-speculative, non-specified business, 8 years. Carry forward and set off of losses by specified business. This also I said it, so it's again more repetitive. If there is any loss, you set off with only that gain. But if there is any gain from the specified business, loss from other business, you can set off. But there is one more condition. This is absolutely important, guys. This is something important. I think we have discussed this in our PGBP chapter also. Again, I'm repeating if anybody has not watched that video. We are having an hospital, have 110 beds. So is it specified business? Section 35 AD mein specified business. I'm having 20 crores loss. Big amount only, right? For big businesses, big amount only loss. We are also having one hotel which is coming from last 30 years and it is 3-star hotel. 3-star hotel. So is it eligible for section 35 AD? Yes, it is eligible. It is eligible is different from I am adopting section 35 AD. Eligible बोले तो one example I'll give you. Same example, it will be useful for you in auditing. I am a chartered accountant. I am eligible to be a statutory auditor? Yes, only if I am having COP. I am a chartered accountant working for a company. I am a qualified but not eligible for or appointed as a statutory auditor. Same logic, you use it here. It's a hotel and hotel is 3-star. Am I eligible? Yes, you are eligible. But are you opting for that eligible 35 AD? No, I'm not opting. Why are you not opting? Because there was some period like 1st April 26 2014 के बाद में start करना, 11 के बाद में start करना. There are some conditions. Okay, number don't remember. Business, you are eligible for it. You are 35 AD? No, I'm not taking the benefit of 35 AD business. So I'm getting a loss under this business and I'm getting a gain under already. Yeah. So 20 crores loss here, assuming 30 crores gain here. Can I offset these two? Yes, you can do that. I'm repeating this provision in another way. You are having two businesses, both are eligible for section 35 AD, but only on one business you are taking the benefit, only for other business you are not taking the benefit. Still, you can set off these two. That many people don't know. They think that okay, it's not like that. It is like that. I'll read it, you will understand. The loss of an SSC claiming deduction under 35 AD in respect of a specified business can be set off against the profits of any other specified business under section 73A, irrespective of whether the latter is eligible for deduction under section 35 AD. Maybe I am not claiming under section 35 AD, but still I am eligible, right? So I can set off these two gains and losses because both are eligible. Whether I am claiming or not, it's a different issue. But I'm claiming or not, it's a different issue, but both are eligible. See, once I'm qualified, I'm qualified to be appointed as an auditor, that's it. For time being, maybe if I'm working for some company, I'm not eligible, but I can drop my papers and take the COP and be an auditor, right? So same way, even when you are not claiming it, it's fine, but both are eligible for it. Yeah. So any questions with respect to this? Hopefully not, because that's I explained it multiple times. Now capital gain mein as I said, short-term losses, short-term capital loss, short-term capital gain, long-term capital gain. Repetitive, but it is like a print on your brain. Okay, long-term capital loss, only long-term capital gain. Loss under the head of capital gain. At the end of the calculation, if there is any loss from the capital gain, you cannot go to any other head. That's the reason why capital gain is a good fellow. He will come for others' help, but if he's in problem, no other head will come. Maximum is again 8 years. So there is one more question. Someone said you are enjoying the questions. So I am also enjoying the explaining the concept in the question. This question also I will read. I will wait for a couple of minutes. Try your best to give the best answer. Short-term capital gain on sale of shares 1,75,000. ब्रॉड फॉरवर्ड लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल लॉस. ब्रॉड फॉरवर्ड तो पिछले साल से अभी आ रहा है, इट्स नॉट करंट ईयर्स. ओके 96,000, बट इट्स अ लॉन्ग टर्म. शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल लॉस 42,000. करंट ईयर का असेसमेंट ईयर 22-23. ओके, सो डिड आई नॉट चेंज द डेट? लेट मी सी. ओके, दिस प्रीवियस ईयर बोलते, दिस आल्सो प्रीवियस ईयर का. करेक्ट. This is also brought forward. Long-term capital gain 85,000. What is the capital gain taxable in the hands of Mr. Chetan for assessment year 23-24? Okay. No, I changed the dates. I thought I did not change. Now, I want you to give me the answer like this. Short-term capital loss ultimately kitna raha? Long-term capital loss or gain, whatever. How much it is coming? 2 minutes you take it, apply all the provisions that I said it. Let's see if you can answer this. I'll also check what is answer. Or first of all, I'll check if date has been changed or not. That is more important. So it should be PY. PY, okay. Now my question is short-term capital loss, short-term capital gain. Can these two be offset? Okay, let me check the book once again. Okay, can someone say? Now long-term capital gain is there, brought forward long-term capital loss is there. Now can these two be done? Just do it, don't say it yes or no. Just tell me with the numbers because we are applying it, right? Like not like MCQ kind of a question. Two minutes. Apply the provision and then check it. It's not like random answer. Long-term capital loss ఉంది, long-term capital gain ఉంది, short-term capital loss ఉంది, short-term capital gain ఉంది. First ఏ ఆర్డర్లో చేస్తారో అది ఫస్ట్ ఇట్స్ a discretion given to you, but you have to be prudent, right? మాకు ప్రొవిజన్స్లో చెప్తున్నట్టుగానే చేస్తున్నాం లేదా కూడా చూసుకోవాలి. ఇట్స్ నాట్ లైక్ సింప్లీ ప్లస్ మైనస్ అలా కాదు. Very quickly guys, we have few more questions. I'm deliberately not trying to give an answer. 1,33,000 Mukunda. Okay, good Mukunda, your answer is right, correct. So long-term capital gain, long-term capital loss, you see it, it's a loss, it's a gain. So can you do it? I said source may long-term, short-term, it's not a problem. When it's coming to different source, it's a problem, right? So brought forward may you have a loss of 96,000. Current year may you're getting a gain of 85,000. So 85,000 zero ho jata, and then you will have long-term capital loss of 96 minus 1,000. So 11,000 you will have a long-term capital loss. I'm not telling whether it's possible or not. Let's see, hold it like that. And for short-term ke liye you are having a gain of 1,75,000 and you are having a brought forward loss of 1,75,000. Can these two be offset within same short-term capital, long-term, no issues, right? So 175, 42,000. So 1,33,000 is a higher side is a gain, right? It's a gain. Now the second question, long-term capital loss, short-term capital gain. Is it possible? I said no. Long-term, short-term se nahi hota. Short-term can be with the long-term. So now because long-term capital loss is a negative, it will be carried forward for next 8 assessment years, and this 1,33,000 will be payable in the current year. If anybody is having any question, just let me know on this. See, either you try it, you make a mistake, it's fine. If you cannot answer it, let me know if you have like where you are finding it difficult to make out. Correct. Okay, so Jaya Teja, your answer is also correct. This also I explained multiple times. Maintaining race horses के लिए तो only against that income only you will set up, and no other income will come into picture, and only 4 assessment years के लिए you will carry it forward. I'm repeating multiple times. Let it be one more time. Specified business unlimited, normal business 8 years, okay, speculative and race horses के लिए only 4 years. Yeah. So there is one more question. It's more about application, guys. You don't think that the answers are so small or the questions are so small. In a larger spectrum of things, we are trying to make our concepts clear, like point by point. Now, income from owning and maintaining horse race is 75,000. Income from textile. So textile ka matlab non-specified, non-speculative. Because in specified also we never studied this textile, right? And brought forward textile business loss 50,000. So you apply yourself. I'm not giving you. These both are from the same business. Brought forward loss from the activities of owning and maintaining or relating to some year 96,000. So in which order you have to see? Let me make it clear. First you see with the same source. Then you see is it possible between specified and non-specified. That's how you have to kind of come to the conclusion. I'll wait for a minute. Let's see. How many are there online at the moment? Jacob, Jaya. Let me know what is your answer. Who is the one giving me the ready fastest fingers first? Ultimate answer I want. Or you can say speculative ka what is the situation, non-speculative ka what is the situation, ultimately net में what is the situation. That's fine. Break down your entire answer into like this in your head. I'm not seeing any answers, guys. I explained this provision multiple times, so much so that you become bored of it. So I want answer, okay? So when I explain so much, I definitely need an answer for that. Speculative loss 21,000 ultimate. Okay, 21. I don't know what is the answer. I'm just writing whatever Jaya is giving. Loss non-speculative me. See, why am I rushing it up? Is that in examination also? Where do we have so much time? So we have to practice in that examination atmosphere only. Not like we have a lot of time. बोल के ऐसा नहीं सोचना. Specified 45,000. First of all, where is the specified business here? One, you have speculative. Non-specified speculative का 21. Okay. Maintaining non-speculative का 45. Can you carry forward this? Can you set off these two? Speculative में loss, non-speculative में gain. Is it possible? Between these two, not possible. So this you will carry it forward, this you will offer to the government in the current year. Someone said, Mukunda, your answer is right. Okay, so numerically we have to be like very strong, but 1 second, I need to charge. Yeah, not possible, and your answer is right. So numerically we have to be very sure, I mean we have to be very confident. For examination mein, whatever the decision that you are taking, no, niche jaake like just put like note number 1 what you are doing and why you are doing. Step number 2, like note number 2, if it is not possible to be set off with other head income, how long it should be carried forward. If you can write like 2 or 3 notes, right, it will amplify the presentation part also. So the possibility that you get better marks. Yes, your answers are right. All the people that who have answered this. Very tricky point, guys. Whenever there is a change in the constitution of the firm, no, so whenever there is a succession, you call it, only succession by inheritance is permissible. Other than that, it is not possible. Somebody acquired it, somebody, maybe this person is dead and someone else is taking the business over. Nobody will live forever, right? At some point of time he will die. If it is taken over by his legal heirs, that is called succession by inheritance. It's the constitution, but it is like a inheritance only, right? So that is the only exception. Loss incurred by a person claimed by another person is not permissible in income tax. It has to be the same person. So whenever there is a constitution change, if it is by inheritance, it is fine. I'll read this. It's very not clear. Huh? My voice not clear. I'll check, guys. Wait. Hello. 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 My voice is not clear. Okay. Now it is clear, right? Okay, I'll explain in both the languages. No issues. Okay, just can one person confirm it is clear now? Okay, so someone is saying clear, so I'm continuing. In case at any point of time if it is not clear, just put it in the comment section. Yeah, so I'll explain twice. One is whenever there is a change in the constitution of the firm. Constitution of the firm ante manaku telusu kada, capital increase avadam, decrease avadam, ownership change avadam. So okay, so what I'm saying is when you call there is a change in the constitution, not like our Indian constitution. Here the constitution bole to change in the capital structure, change in the capital holding, or people who held the share capital at the time of loss are different when the companies claiming that loss, brought forward loss. Is it allowed or not is a question. To answer that, the very simplest explanation is that when there is a loss, whoever is holding the shares, they should be same when you are claiming it. Last year there was a loss. Okay, last year there was a loss. Now we are bringing it to the next year, brought forward loss. We are setting it off with the another income. Is it possible or not? It's possible, provided shareholders of that shareholders or whoever is holding that company or firm should be same as the one who are claiming it now. Example simple ga cheppalante, see FY 2021 lo we have a business loss of 20 lakh rupees. So what we do? We carry forward it, right? We will carry forward it. Now FY 2023 to 24 we are getting a gain of 35 lakh. Now can I offset this loss with the current year gain? Yes, answer is yes, right? Brought forward business loss, current year business gain, I can offset. Yes, it's possible. But the condition should be, ఎవరైతే ఈ కంపెనీలో ఓనర్స్గా ఉండేనో సేమ్ పీపుల్ షుడ్ బి ఓనర్స్ హియర్ ఆల్సో. Sir, what are you saying, sir? Why there will be change? There will be a change. If it is a partnership firm, out of 5 partners, 1 partner might retire, might die. There might be addition of new partner. This could be change in the constitution, right? So whenever there is a change in the constitution, these provisions will come into picture. I will tell you when it is allowed, when it is not allowed, but try to understand whenever there is a change in the constitution, you cannot blindly offset the loss incurred at that point of time with the current year gain. There are certain sections. Section 78 is a very important section. CMA final के लिए this is important. CA final के लिए it is important. CA inter, CMA inter, little important. That's it. I don't say it's very important, but whoever is watching for final level, this is absolutely important for you. I seen even for my own exam also this question has come in for 4 to 5 marks. I don't remember. So there's a possibility that there might be a question on this. Where there is a change in the constitution of the firm, so much of the loss proportionate to the share of the retired or deceased partner remaining unabsorbed shall not be allowed to be carried forward by the firm. However, unabsorbed depreciation can be carried forward. What do you mean by that? There is a partnership firm. There are 8 partners. Okay, there are 8 partners. How much it will be? 100 divided by 8. Mathematics I am very poor. So 12.5% each multiplied by 8, it is 100%. You understood, right? So in FY 2021, there was a 20 lakh loss, as I said now. Now, out of these 8 partners, 2 partners have retired. So 2 partners have retired. So can you offset the entire 20 with this 35 lakh gain? The answer is no. The answer is big no. The reason is this loss pertains to 8 partners. Usme 2 partners have been retired, right? To the extent to which the loss pertains to the retired partners, it will not be allowed to be set off in the hands of the firm. That is only business loss ke liye that provision will be applicable. But for unabsorbed depreciation ke liye this provision is not applicable. Sir, what do you mean by that? Irrespective of who is partners, who is not partners, who are going out, who are coming in, everything will be allowed in case of a unabsorbed depreciation. Section 32(2) I guess the section is. But for business loss, for you to carry forward from 1 year to another year and set off with a gain, the partners should be same. If someone is retiring, going out, to that extent it will not be allowed. Like if 2 partners are going out, no, so then 12.5 multiplied by only 6, 75% only will be allowed to be set off in the hands of the remaining partnership firm. Okay, with the numbers we will do it. I hope we have questions. If we don't have also, we'll try to make out something out of it, but understand the provision. Okay, you can expect this in MCQs, you can expect this in 4-mark question. Succession otherwise than by inheritance. So first you understand succession by inheritance. When I say inheritance, it's like with a blood it is flowing to the next generation. From father it is going to the son, or from mother it is going to the son, like that. Okay, so if it is inheritance by succession, then it is okay. Bole to you can claim it. Simple one word mein it is okay. Succession by inheritance, it is okay. Succession by any other mode, it is not okay. You cannot set off that. New partner coming, it's okay, boss. But to the extent to which it pertains to the retiring one, there is a problem. New partners coming, it's okay, because earlier also same partners, now also same partners, no issues. But see, there are 4 partners, I am one of the partners. Okay, there is a loss. Although to that extent, it belongs to me also, right? But when I go out, they should not get the 100% of the benefit. They should get only for the 3 partners related benefit. Okay. So if it is inheritance by success, understand the all conditions. It's not like only one condition. There is a condition of 51% stake and all. I'll come for that point also. For time being, when there is a succession and when the partners are retiring or going out, to the extent to which it belongs to the partners who are going out, it will not be allowed in the hands of the remaining partners, because that is a succession not by inheritance. It is generally, it is firm ke liye. But if it is succession by inheritance, where there is a succession by inheritance, the legal heirs are entitled to offset the business loss of the predecessor. Predecessor bole to the one who has incurred the loss is called the predecessor. The one who are taking over the business is called the successor. Successor bole to next generation. Predecessor bole to who has incurred the loss. Such carried forward and set off is possible even if the legal heirs constitute themselves as a partnership firm. This I told you in an example. Father is like doing a sole proprietor. He's dead, he's died, and now the business is taken over by the sons, but in the form of a AOP or BOI or in the form of a firm. Still it is allowed because it is succession by inheritance. In such a case, the firm can carry forward and set off the business losses of the predecessor. Why they are saying only business loss, unabsorbed depreciation, there is no condition, there is no restriction. But now you see succession otherwise than by inheritance. Although it's not a family related business, other business ke liye, where any person carrying on a business or a profession has been succeeded in such capacity by another person otherwise than by inheritance, such other person shall not be allowed to carry forward and set off against the income any loss incurred by the predecessor. If it is not a business succession, it is not a family business, it is not succeeded by inheritance, you incur, see, I am starting this accounting business, I told, or maybe this institute only, I have incurred 4-5 lakhs of losses from all these years. Okay, I am just closing my business and someone is taking care of this premises where I am taking this session or this equipment and all. Okay, so now they are saying, can I carry forward the loss incurred by the Sampath? No, that is not possible, because it is not succession by inheritance. It is simply you are taking my business. Sir, if that is the case, can we never transfer the losses from one business to another business? Yes, you can do it. But section 47, you have conditions, right? When one business is acquired by another business, so much of the percentage should be same. Okay, the one who is incurring, the one like amalgamated company, firm is sole proprietorship is converted into firm, or firm is getting converted into LLP. You have a lot of conditions. Go back to your capital gain chapter, section 47, may you read it. Now also I'll explain one more time if you want it. If that conditions are satisfied, then whatever the business forward brought forward losses of the predecessor will be taken over by the successor. Any question so far with respect to this? All condition I'll tell you, but so far any question here? This is like a real maza kind of a provision, not easy provision. No, that's what I'm saying. It's not about the share capital. The one who incurred so when the firm incurred the loss, there are 4 people. 1 people left. No, whether you are joining the new partner or not is a different issue. But to that extent, you are not allowed to set off. Yes, there are conditions. When there is a dead, one person died, he has transferred it to relative, those conditions will talk. First understand the structure of the provision, then exceptions will come back. Structure is that the one in whose hands the loss has incurred should be same one who is claiming it. Exceptions are there, like the one like Jayashree is saying, exceptions are there. Blood relation, if you are transferring, that's fine. Percentage is this much, it's fine. Close related business ke liye, there is one provision, that is also fine. Okay. Now, carry forward and set off of losses in the case of closely held companies. Now, what they say is, on the last day of the previous year, the shares of the company carrying not less than 51% of the voting powers were beneficially held by the persons who beneficially held the shares of the company carrying not less than 51% voting power on the last day of the year or years in which the loss was incurred. Meaning, same example I will take it. FY 2021, there is a company, boss, ABC Limited, there is a company. Okay, here company bole to you have share capital. I need not tell you this. So FY 2021 they are having a loss of 10 lakh business loss. FY 2022-23 में they are getting a gain of 10 lakh, same amount. Can it be offset or not will depend upon when you incur the loss in that company. 51% of the people who are holding the shares should continue to be holding 51% of the shares in the last day of the year. बोले तो 31st March 2023 के लिए, first 31st March 2023 के लिए you go to your shareholders register and you check the names of the people who 51% should be same on 31st March 2021 के लिए. In that year whatever the loss has been incurred उसमें 51% of these final level 4 marks you can expect out of it. When you have incurred a loss, check the last day of the year, previous year. Shareholders में there are 100 people assuming that, and for the previous year you are getting a gain that you want to set it off with. So उसमें last day of the year में out of these 100 people 51 people should continue to be holding the share in that same company. Then only brought forward loss is allowed to be set off. Examination में numerical problem you will get it. In RTP also you have these questions. Is anybody having any question with respect to this 51% concept? A, B, C, D. He is holding 40% stake. He is holding hello. Can someone say if it is clear now? Hello. Hello. I don't know, guys. This technology is playing with me. I am also not so much knowledgeable about the IT. Only little I know. So we are having these problems. Okay. So now what I was explaining, just to listen with this question, you can expect this 4-mark question in your examination. If somebody have not understood it properly because of voice problem, I'll explain one more time. FY 2021 में we are having 4 shareholders, only 4 shareholders. That's it. 4. A is holding 40%, B is holding 10%, C is holding 25%, D is holding 25%. So total 100%. This is clear so far, and they are getting a loss of 10 lakh. This is clear. Now we are getting this is a loss. Now it's a gain 10 lakh. But you know what happened? This fellow who is holding 40% has sold his stake to E 40%. So who are the common shareholders so far? 10 plus 25, 35 plus 25, both 50, 60%. So same shareholders, no? So now also there is no change in the equity pattern. Same 60% is held by the B, C, D. Now is it allowed to be set off and carry forward? We'll take the example of 5 lakh rupees. We'll take the example of 5 lakh gain. Now against this 5 lakh gain, can you offset this 10 lakh? Answer me guys. Can you offset this? I am repeating this. When I incurred the loss, there were 4 shareholders A, B, C, D. एक साल के बाद में A has sold his shares to E. How much he was holding? 40%. So remaining बाकी का तो 60% is intact, right? So 60% is there. Now also 60% is same. So can you offset this 5 lakh gain against 5 lakh loss? Yes. So what you can do? 5 lakh gain of the current year minus 5 lakh loss of the previous. Zero income you will show it to the government. But now what is happening? FI 23-24 में C is selling his shares. So C is selling it to G. So who are the common shareholders now? Common shareholder is B, who is holding 10%, D, who is holding 25%. Although 35% of the shareholders, 35% of the shareholders in the year in which you are proposing to offset are same as the ones who were there when the company incurred the loss. So, but that 35% is not what we are looking into. We are looking into 51%. So, this 5 lakh whatever we had, no, this 10 lakhs may we have utilized 5 lakhs. So, बाकी का 5 lakhs है ना, so this 5 lakhs you cannot offset here. Now, let me know if anybody is having any question. We will check it at the last day of the year. Anybody, any question guys? I love this question, okay? Not just see this, you have a lot of questions in ICA material, but this is like a very good concept. When you incur the loss, when you claim when you want to carry forward and set off, the shareholder should be at least 51% same. It's not about number of shares, it's about shareholders holding 51% should be same. Then only it is allowed, because even though you are having 5 lakh rupees unabsorbed carry forward business loss, you cannot set off that with this 2023. I think you are having another 5 lakh gain. You cannot set it off with this 5 lakh gain. Not possible. Reason, 51% of the shareholders are not same. Any question, anybody? Especially final students, I would like to get your answer. CA final, CMA final, CA inter also sometimes they ask it, but not so frequently. Jacob, you said you are from final, so you should be telling whether it is clear for you or not. I am not sure about other students. Clear, or is it really confusing? Guys, let me know if it is clear or if it is confusing. Which part is confusing? Let me come and explain you. Anyone? Can I move on? Everybody's. I explained your point. If he sold at the beginning of the year and to re-enter to get the benefit at the end, is possible? Yes, it is possible. We will check the number of shareholding or the shareholding pattern as on the last day of the year. Look at the provision. They are very particular. On the last day of the previous year, the shares of the company carrying not less than 51% of the voting rights were beneficially held by who beneficially held the shares of the company carrying not less than 51% of the voting power on the last day of the year in which the loss was incurred. Loss incur అయినప్పుడు last day, claim చేయాలనుకుంటున్నప్పుడు last day in the year in which you have incurred the loss, last day in the year in which you are about to claim it. it should be same. You have to check it on the last day of the year. So no question. Okay, but again, for everything we have exception. So for this also exception. See, I'm not saying any responses from anyone, guys. So it means that it's not clear. Huh? Sir, one question. What if B sold to D, then will B sold to D? It's fine. See, now the question is not that the same shareholder. Like his point was, what if B is selling it to D? It's fine. So 25 ke jaga mein you will have 35%. No, that's fine. Shareholders holding, they're not saying there should not be change in the pattern. They're not saying change in the shareholding pattern of each shareholder. Combined hello, can someone confirm? Hello, can someone confirm? So has is what the question that he was saying is, if B is transferring it to D, will there be any problem? No problem. They are checking the shareholders who are holding 51% should be same for both the dates, irrespective of whether there is an increase in the one partner or decrease in the one partner. It's fine. See, this is a closely held company, guys. Generally in closely held companies, FIIs and all these people, retail investors will not come. At the start of the session only, it is only for the closely held company. Closely held company का मतलब is like एक family का business है. Concept clear? See, you can have lot of questions. You go to ICI material, previous year question papers, RTPs, you have lot of questions. Don't fear of reading the entire question. It is like a lengthy question only, but concept you have to be very clear. Okay, I hope concept is clear. I am shouting so much that I want to make the concept clear. Okay, or किसी के पास like anybody is having any question so far with respect to this provision? We will close it in 10 minutes. Okay, just quickly answer if it is clear, or you want any explanation here, or can I move ahead? Clear, right? Okay. So as the case with everything that we will have some exception also. There are some exception where a change in the voting power and shareholding takes place in a previous year consequent upon death of a shareholder or on account of transfer of shares by way of gift to any relative of the shareholder making such gift. As someone just said it, that when there is a death बोले तो what can you do? That death person के लिए you cannot bring it back to and put it in the shareholding pattern. No, assuming that there is a partner who is holding 60% stake, remaining all people are holding 40%. अगर जिसके पास 60% हिस्सा है, if he dies, no, obviously this condition you will not fulfill. In that case, what can happen if there is a death and if he inherits that to someone else, or he transfers as a gift to someone else, then this provision will not be applicable. where any change in the shareholding takes place in an Indian company being a subsidiary of a foreign company as a result of a amalgamation of a demerged foreign company. You remember this provision also we have explained. We are a subsidiary company and holding company is in US. They are selling that company to someone else. So amalgamating transferee company is going to amalgamated transferee company. Both are foreign companies only. So I told you 51% of the shareholders holding in the amalgamating company should be same as amalgamated foreign company. That condition is there, no? If that condition is satisfied, then even though there is a change in the pattern, because when this company is getting amalgamated with another company, obviously there is a change in the proportionate, right, share in the shareholding pattern. So it is always this condition will not be met, but that condition should be met. What is that condition? All the assets and liabilities of the company should be holding not less than 51% should be same in the new company, and in the amalgamating company the conditions of this exemption should be there in that company in which the amalgamating company is incorporated. You go back to income capital gain chapter, the same provisions will be discussed there. So if that is the case, it is fine. And again, if it is for IBC ke liye, I mean, because you are all inter students, you might not have IBC. I hope it is not there, but for final definitely you have IBC, right? So as for insolvency and bankruptcy code, that official liquidator has been appointed and they are doing these things. Definitely they will come up with a resolution plan, and the resolution plan, once it gets satisfied, the shares, the management and everything will go from existing shareholders to the one who is proposing the resolution plan. So I am not teaching here, though I can teach that. So in that case, this exception is there. Even though there is a change in the more than 51% of the shareholding, still it is allowed to be set off with the new company. There is no new company in the IBC. It's just that they revive the company with a better plan, which is proposed by the resolution. What do you call that? The one who is proposing the resolution plan. Okay. And the same thing for your section 242, operations and mismanagement may also. The board of directors will be superseded by another board of directors on the direction of the NCLT. If that is the case as per this section, then it's fine. Still the new company can continue to get it, even though there is, because okay, so exceptions చెప్పాలంటే, okay, I'll explain one more time. Exception ఏంటి అంటే, no issues guys, no issues, just hold on, just have patience. I will explain in Telugu also. I'll explain. I hope మీకు ప్రొవిజన్ అర్థమైంది అనుకుంటున్నాను. ఎక్సెప్షన్ ఏంటి అంటున్నాడంటే, there is a company A, B, C, D, E. వీడి దగ్గర 60% స్టేక్ ఉంది, వీని దగ్గర 10%, వీని దగ్గర 10%, వీని దగ్గర 10%, వీని దగ్గర 10%, మొత్తం 100%. సో దిస్ పర్సన్ has dead, he has died. Okay, so obviously in the year in which the loss was there was a loss of 10 lakh rupees. Maybe in the next year you have a gain of 10 lakh rupees. ఇప్పుడు క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటంటే, రెండింటి మనం సెట్ ఆఫ్ చేయొచ్చా లేదా అంటే, మన ప్రొవిజన్ ఏం చెప్తుంది, 51% ఆఫ్ ద షేర్ హోల్డర్స్ షుడ్ బి సేమ్ అంటుంది. కానీ ఇందులో ఇటు చనిపోయాడు కదా, సో అంటే ఓన్లీ 40% సేమ్ ఉన్నారు కదా. సో 40% సేమ్ ఉన్నప్పుడు యూ హ్యావ్ వయలేటెడ్ ద ప్రొవిజన్. సో యూ షుడ్ నాట్ బి గివెన్ ద అంటే మీకు క్యారీ ఫార్వర్డ్ సెట్ ఆఫ్ చేసే రైట్ ఇవ్వకూడదు. బట్ ఇట్ చనిపోయేటప్పుడు అంటే ఇట్స్ నాట్ ఇన్ అవర్ హ్యాండ్, రైట్, ఇట్ ఈస్ న్యాచురలీ హ్యాపెండ్. సో వెన్ ఎవర్ దర్ ఇస్ అ డెత్ ఆఫ్ ఎ పర్సన్ ఇన్ ద ప్రీవియస్ ఇయర్ అండ్ దట్ పర్సన్ ఈస్ గివింగ్ దట్ షేర్స్ టు సమ్వన్ ఎల్స్, ఓకే, ఇన్హెరిటెన్స్ కానీ ఫ్యామిలీలో ఎవరికైనా కానీ అట్లా వేరే వాళ్ళకి ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ చేసినప్పుడు బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ఎ డెత్ ఈ ప్రొవిజన్ అప్లై కాదు. ఈ ప్రొవిజన్ రిలేటివ్కి గిఫ్ట్గా ఇచ్చినా కానీ ఈ ప్రొవిజన్ అప్లై కాదు. ఎక్సెప్షన్ నెంబర్ 1 ఈజ్, ఆ షేర్ హోల్డర్లో ఒక షేర్ హోల్డరు వాడి షేర్స్ని ఒకరికి గిఫ్ట్గా రిలేటివ్స్కి ఇవ్వడం కానీ, లేకపోతే డెత్ అవ్వడం వల్ల వేరే వాళ్ళకి ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ చేయడం కానీ చేస్తే ఈ ప్రొవిజన్ అప్లికబుల్ కాదు. ఎందుకంటే కంపల్సరీగా చేయాల్సి వచ్చింది, వాడి కావాల్సుకొని చేయలేదు. కమింగ్ టు ద సెకండ్ పాయింట్, ఐబీసీలో కూడా ఏమవుతుందంటే, మేబీ మీరు లా వినే ఉండొచ్చు, వెనెవర్ ద కంపెనీస్ ఇన్ డిస్ట్రెస్, వాడు క్రెడిటర్స్కి డబ్బులు టైంకి కట్టనప్పుడు, ఎంప్లాయీస్కి శాలరీ కట్టనప్పుడు వాళ్ళు ఒక పిటిషన్ వేసేస్తారు, లైక్ ఐబీసీకి ఇన్సాల్వెన్సీ పిటిషన్ వేస్తారు. దెన్ సమ్మన్ విల్ కమ్ అప్ విత్ ఎ న్యూ ప్లాన్. ఒక ఐడియాతో వస్తాడు, ఐడియాతో వచ్చేసేసి వన్ ప్లాన్ రిజల్యూషన్ కన్ఫర్మ్ అయిపోయి ఎన్సీఎల్టీ దాన్ని కన్ఫర్మేషన్ చేసేస్తే ఆ ప్లాన్ ఎగ్జిస్టింగ్లో అవుతుంది. అంటే వాడు ప్లాన్ అంటే ఏం చేస్తాడు, ఎవడైతే ప్లాన్ ఇచ్చాడో ఆ ఓనర్షిప్ మొత్తం వాడు తీసుకునే ప్రయత్నం చేస్తాడు. అంటే దేర్ విల్ బి చేంజ్ ఇన్ ద ఓనర్షిప్ ఇన్ ద కేస్ ఆఫ్ ఐబీసీ ఆల్సో. జనరల్లీ మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద టైమ్స్, వీ కెనాట్ గివ్ ద పర్సంటేజ్, మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద టైమ్ దేర్ విల్ బి చేంజ్ ఇన్ ద షేర్ హోల్డింగ్ ప్యాటర్న్ వెన్ ఎవర్ ద ఐబీసీ ఇన్వాల్వ్స్. ఎందుకంటే కొత్తవాడు వచ్చేసి ఒక కొత్త బిజినెస్ ప్లాన్తో ముందుకు వస్తారు కాబట్టి దేర్ విల్ బి చేంజ్ ఇన్ ద షేర్ హోల్డింగ్ ప్యాటర్న్. బట్ స్టిల్ ఈవెన్ దో దెర్ ఇస్ 51% స్టేక్ కండిషన్ ఫెయిల్ అయినప్పటికీ కూడా దే ఆర్ అలౌడ్ టు క్యారీ ఫార్వర్డ్. ఎక్కడెక్కడ క్యారీ ఫార్వర్డ్, డెత్ అయినప్పుడు క్యారీ ఫార్వర్డ్ అలౌడ్ ఉంది, పర్లేదు. రిలేటివ్కి నువ్వు గిఫ్ట్కి ఇచ్చినప్పుడు అలౌడ్ ఉంది, పర్లేదు. ఐబీసీ పిక్చర్లోకి వచ్చినప్పుడు ఎన్సీఎల్టీ ద్వారా జరిగినప్పుడు కూడా పర్లేదు. అండ్ మూడవది ఏంటంటే ఈ 241, 242 మనకు ఆపరేషన్ మిస్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ ఈ ప్రొవిజన్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా, ఆ సెక్షన్స్ ప్రకారం కూడా ఒక్కొక్కసారి ఎన్సీఎల్టీ ఏం చేస్తుంది, ఆ సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఆర్ ఎన్సీఎల్టీ వాళ్ళు ఏం చేస్తారంటే బోర్డ్ ఆఫ్ డైరెక్టర్ని సూపర్ సీడ్ చేస్తారు. సూపర్ సీడ్ అంటే ఆల్రెడీ 10 మంది దగ్గర ఉంటే మొత్తానికి 10 మందిని క్యాన్సిల్ చేసేసి కొత్త వాళ్ళని తీసుకురావడానికి ట్రై చేస్తారు. ఎందుకంటే అక్కడ సంథింగ్ మిస్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ జరుగుతుంది అని వాళ్ళకి ఆ రిపోర్ట్స్ వచ్చినప్పుడు. ఓకే, సో మనకు ఈ సెక్షన్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఏంటి అవి, అంటే can someone give me that word, I'm not getting that word, mismanagement, oppression to the minority interest, వాళ్ళు ఎంక్వైరీ చేసేసి ఎంక్వైరీ చేయడం ద్వారా ఇది ప్రిజుడిషియల్ టు పబ్లిక్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ అనిపించినప్పుడు కొన్ని ప్రొసీజర్లు ఉన్నాయి. మనం ఇప్పుడు ప్రస్తుతానికి మనం ఏం అవి మాట్లాడుకోవట్లేదు, మనం లా మాట్లాడుకున్నప్పుడు చూద్దాం. అప్పుడు ఎన్సీఎల్టీ సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్ వచ్చేసి బోర్డ్ ఆఫ్ డైరెక్టర్ని సూపర్ సీడ్ చేస్తుంది, అంటే కొత్త బోర్డ్ ఆఫ్ డైరెక్టర్స్ని పిక్చర్లో తీసుకుంటుంది. సో షేర్ హోల్డింగ్ కూడా మారిపోతుంది. అప్పుడు కూడా ఇట్స్ అన్ ఎక్సెప్షన్, స్టిల్ యూ కెన్ క్యారీ ఫార్వర్డ్ అండ్ సెట్ ఆఫ్. సో అది 241, 242 అదే మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి చెప్పి ఇందాక సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఇక్కడ ట్రిబ్యునల్ ఆర్డర్ ద్వారా వచ్చేస్తుంది. ఇంకొకటి మీకు ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్లో కూడా దెర్ ఇస్ వన్ పాయింట్, వెన్ యూ హ్యావ్ ఏ మ్యూచువల్ ఫండ్స్ ఇన్ వన్ స్కీమ్, what happens is that 10 mutual funds they will consolidate and issue and create a new mutual fund. That is called consolidation of mutual funds. మన సింపులెస్ట్ లాంగ్వేజ్లో చెప్పాలంటే, నేను సింపులెస్ట్ వే ఇఫ్ ఐ హ్యావ్ టు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్, you are having a face value of 10 shares. Okay, you are holding 10 shares, face value is 10 and you are holding 10. So company what they can do, they can consolidate your share capital and issue a share 100 rupees each. So there is no change in the your shareholding pattern, just that number of shares ని కన్సాలిడేట్ చేస్తున్నారు. ఇట్ కెన్ బి స్ప్లిట్ ఆఫ్, దట్ కెన్ బి కన్సాలిడేటెడ్. ఈ కాన్సెప్ట్ మీరు సిబిటీలో లేకపోతే ఐపీసీలో వినుండొచ్చు. బట్ నౌ ద పాయింట్ హియర్ ఇస్ సేమ్ వే మ్యూచువల్ ఫండ్స్ ఆల్సో SEBI comes up with so many regulations. What they say is these all funds are appears to be same thing. I don't want so many funds, just the name change is different, but they are doing into the same business. They are kind of investing in the same horizon, risk appetite is same, they are targeting the same people under the same umbrella, సేమ్ అన్నీ సేమ్ ఉన్నప్పుడు వాడు ఏమంటారంటే ఈ 10ని కన్సాలిడేట్ చేసి యూ ఇష్యూ ఏ మ్యూచువల్ ఫండ్ ఇన్ ద న్యూ మ్యూచువల్ ఫండ్. సో ఇన్స్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ 10 మ్యూచువల్ ఫండ్స్ యూ విల్ గెట్ 1 మ్యూచువల్ ఫండ్. సో దిస్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ ఒరిజినేటింగ్ మ్యూచువల్ ఫండ్, దిస్ ఈజ్ ఎ ఫైనల్ మ్యూచువల్ ఫండ్. సో ఇలాంటి టైంలో కూడా షేర్ హోల్డింగ్ ప్యాటర్న్ మారుతుంది. అప్పుడు కూడా ఇట్స్ నాట్ లైక్ రియలీ చేంజింగ్, ఇట్స్ జస్ట్ దట్ ప్రపోర్షనేట్ ఈస్ చేంజింగ్. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో ఎక్సెప్షన్. దిస్ ఈజ్ మోర్ ఇన్ టు mathematical calculation, but time being whenever that consolidation is happening in a mutual fund, it's an exception. Simple language lo cheppalante. Any question guys so far, or are we going on board, over the board elipotunda? Anyone, can someone confirm if it is fine? We have few more provisions and we can close it guys. Okay, so we have 2 more questions, we can do it. How many of you are interested in solving these questions? If you are interested, I am also interested to take these sessions. I mean, ఈ క్వశ్చన్స్ అన్నిటిని సాల్వ్ చేస్తాను, మీరు ఇంట్రెస్టెడ్గా అంటే నేను చేస్తాను. ఇఫ్ యూ ఆర్ ఇంట్రెస్టెడ్, ఐ విల్ ఆల్సో టేక్ ఇట్. ఆర్ యూ ఆర్ లైక్, నో సార్, వీ అండర్స్టూడ్ ద ప్రొవిజన్స్, వీ విల్ వాంట్ టు సాల్వ్ ఇట్ ఆన్ అవర్ ఓన్. If you want to solve it on our own, I will leave it to you. You just tell me, would you like you to solve it, or shall we start it here only? Provisions are almost done except 2 or 3 provisions. Order of set off, we have an order of set off, like whenever you are setting off, first year current year depreciation is must. When we have discussed PGBP, this point I kept telling, current year depreciation is not your discretion, it is must. So current year depreciation is the first thing, and current year scientific research, like you know right, capital expenditure is allowed in the year in which you are incurring it, so that is also must. Current year is must. First of all, brought forward, you will do it later. Then brought forward business loss second, unabsorbed later. See why this order is coming, you think unabsorbed business loss is indefinite time, right? So you can set up bit later, but business loss it's having a expiry life of only 8 years. So इसके लिए थोड़ा ज़्यादा like you have to give more importance to this. And then unabsorbed capital expenditure on scientific research, that is from previous year. Unabsorbed expenditure on family planning, you remember if it only for a company, they can claim the capital expenditure incurred on the family planning of the employee. I mean like for capital expenditure 1/5 in the current year and the remaining 4 years they can do it, right? So that will come at the last. Okay, we have few questions. I would wait if you would like to solve these questions now, or you would like to do it on your own. If you have any questions, just put it in the comment section in the same video. I will try to reply the answer. If you feel anyway answers are there below only. If you feel that you are not able to get the one concept, I will reply in the comment section. Okay, so we'll solve this question. We'll see the further remaining question. Mr. Varun has furnished the details of assessment year 23-24 as under. See, when you say you are interested, there is a challenge is that the answers are solved by you only. Okay. Company shall be a subsidiary of another company if such company holds more than okay, this is, you know it, right? Yeah. So the question here is salary computed. So don't deduct that standard deduction. Speculative business loss. Speculative, okay, business income. Loss from non-speculative, okay, income from speculative business, loss from speculative business. Can these two be set off or not? You ask yourself. I will not be giving that answer. Short-term capital gain, long-term capital loss. So is it possible to do it set off here? You ask yourself. Winning from lottery is 20,000. So now you have salary mein, you tell me the number. PGBP mein, you tell me the number. And you have income from capital gain and income from other source. I will be giving you 2 minutes because we are not looking into the presentation part, right? It's more about the application. You tell me the application. It's like 11:05, so I'll wait till 11:07. We'll see how many of you can answer this question. Take it like a challenge, guys. Okay, don't be very lazy saying that okay मैं घर में exam में कर लेता जो भी करना है. Don't think like that. Okay, do it now only. You will understand. Salary 1,70,000. So salary lunch మనం deduction చేయలేము. So 1,70,000 is given by someone. I'm just writing it. I'm also not checking the answer, the logic. Is it possible loss from non-specified to income from specified? Is it possible? Loss from non-specified, income from specified. I shouted so many times for this point. Is like a father. If his son is giving a bad name, he will not take the credit. If the son is giving you good name, you just take the credit of it. Just like that. Specified may loss, don't care. Specified may gain, you can use it with a non-specified loss. So PGBB may you will get 20,000 gain. Income from capital gain mein you ask this question yourself. Short term capital gain is there, long term capital loss is there. Is it possible to offset? Yes or no? Don't say yes or no, just tell me the amount. If it is yes, just tell me the amount. Others say no. Can I offset long term capital loss with short term capital gain? Okay. Not okay. Good. So this is 90. This is also fine. I am happy with that. Lottery mein that is also separately. Okay. So that's how they have also done it. Same way. Anybody, any questions? Yes, your answer is right, Jaya Teja. Good. Jacob, your answer is also right, 90,000. 1.7, that is also right. So now you understood, right? Like once you crack down the entire concept, no, it is not as difficult as it appears. But once we need to like kind of puzzle it out one by one, one by one. One more question, since you are also kind of having a josh to solve, na? This is also another question. Income from house property computed. So don't do standard deduction. I'm repeating multiple times. Income from so income from business before providing depreciation 1,35,000. Short term capital gain on sale of shares. Long term. Arey Rama. This is I pressed enter here. So this is this one. This is this one. I am sorry. It is little confusing for you. Okay, little just to check it one line below that. I don't know, while I was kind of converting it, it just got it. So just look one line below that. Short term capital gain this much, and is getting some loss brought forward, business loss brought forward, long term capital loss this much. Income from tea business. Tea, you have to remember one more concept. I will not tell you what is that. Tea bole to just underline that. Tea bole to there is one twist in that. This is the income. Dividend from Indian company carrying on agricultural operation. Again, there is one case study on this. I don't know the case study. If you are doing the agriculture on your own, it is exempt. But if you are investing in a company who is doing agricultural business, and when they declare dividend, it is taxable. Don't think it is exempt for you. Okay. So it is also taxable. Current year depreciation 26,000. Brought forward business loss 45,000. I will wait for 3 minutes. It's a very good question. It's a very good question. I will wait for 3 minutes. Let's see how many of you can solve it. Every point has been discussed. Okay, no point is new. No point is new here. I would do it like this. I will just I'll write it here anyway. Income from house property, you tell me the amount. Income from capital PGBP आता ना बीच में. PGBP, you tell me the amount. Income from capital gain, you tell me. Income from other source, you tell me. Ultimate, then we will check whether that is possible or not. 2 minutes, like 11:10. We'll wait till 11:13. How many are like courageous to answer this? It can come for 4 to 5 marks. It's like having a depth in it. I'll wait for your answer. I'm waiting in fact for your answers. इसके बाद में this is the last question guys, and we'll end the session also. Income from house property में see, first you check like this. Losses, where is he having losses? Long term capital loss he is having. Short term capital gain is having. Is it possible or not? First you think like that. Brought forward, see amount I just got messed up. Just check one line below that. That's it. Short term capital gain not adjusted, long term capital. Very good. Okay, so in that case, short term capital gain will be 56,000. Someone said it. Absolutely correct answer. We have puzzled. We have solved one puzzle. Next, PGBP में you check it. T में how much income is having? Third row kada 1 2 3 1,20,000. 1,20,000 లో 60% is the agricultural income, that is exempt. 40% is the non-agricultural income that you will take. So 1,20,000 multiplied by 40%. So 48,000 only you will take it for T. 1,20,000 multiplied by 40%. 48,000 you will take it for PGBP. So T के लिए 48,000. Don't concentrate on my handwriting. I don't write it like this when I'm normally writing on a paper. Short-term capital gain can adjust in long-term capital gain, but long-term, okay. Kadiri, correct. Now PGBP mein what else you will have? 1,35,000 is before depreciation. So depreciation nikalna padega. What is the depreciation? Current year depreciation is the first one. Current year depreciation is 26,000. Okay, this is the first thing that will go. And brought forward business loss is 45,000. That also you can take it. 135,000 minus current year depreciation 26,000 minus 45,000. So it is 64,000 other business के लिए. Someone is saying house property is 1,25,000. 1,25,000, there is nothing is coming else, no? So 1,25,000 it will be as it is. And other source mein, is there anything for other source? Dividend from agricultural company, don't think it's an exempt, guys. Only if you are doing it is exempt, not when you are investing in a company who is into the agricultural, it is dividend is taxable income from other source. Okay, so anyone having any questions so far with respect to this? It might appear to be like a problem solving, it's like a puzzle solving, but once you get that art, no, you will enjoy it. And I would suggest that you solve MTPs, RTPs, previous year questions based upon this brought forward losses, I mean Setoff and carry forward. You will get a lot of confidence. Provision wise, concept wise, I have given my best to explain you. Hopefully whoever has paid attention would have understood it. So any questions so far? Are we good to close the session? Hello guys, are we good to close the session, or any question would you would like to ask here? Madhukant M. Mehta is also something that you have to remember, like just now I said it, right? Keshavji, Morarji for cross transfer, Manjula Jesha for your depreciation. Like there are few case studies. So this is okay. So for few case studies, Madhukant M. Mehta is also very frequently asked. They don't say that case study. It is like sole proprietor is there, that person dead, and his kids will take over the company, but not as a sole proprietor. Obviously there are 3-4 kids. What you do? You will combine, like you will form a firm. So predecessor is a sole proprietor, successor is a firm. Is it allowed, Bharata? Yes, it is allowed. Madhukant M. Mehta. Okay, you remember this case study. Any question, guys? And there was an amendment. If anybody is looking into amendments, the amendment is that whenever you are paying any loss on undisclosed income, there is no set-off for you. See, section 133A, there is one section like survey you do know. Whenever the income tax rates happens and you are escaping the tax from any year, that you can say that no, that income I'll set off with my other losses. No, that is not possible. That was an amendment. One more good example for see, case study is that only. Example, example okay, I will share it. See, I am only starting one. I only started already. Accounting work we are doing one accounting work. Okay, we are having good, no, I don't say very good, but reasonable popularity in our local nearby areas. So it is sole proprietor. I will only do everything. Karta karma kriya, I am only doing it. So now in one of the years I got a business loss of 20 lakh. Business loss of 20 lakh. Assuming that I am dead. Okay, my kids, okay, Mr. A, Mr. B, there are 2 sons. So they want to continue the same business. Okay, what they are doing is they are forming a partnership firm. As I said, it is a succession by inheritance, right? So ఈ 20 lakhs ని వాళ్ళు క్యారీ ఫార్వర్డ్ చేసుకోవచ్చా లేదా? కెన్ దే క్యారీ ఫార్వర్డ్ ద లాస్ ఇంకర్డ్ బై మీ అంటే yes, you can do it. They need not be sole proprietor. Because I am sole proprietor doesn't mean that my kids also should be sole proprietor. They can form AOP, they can form BOI by inviting someone else, or they can have a partnership firm. So there is still the same partners only, right? They are not inviting the like there is no structural change in it. So that is the reason why they can carry forward the business loss. Okay, I'll share the PDF also. I'm forgetting for some or other reason. Any question, guys? Are we good to close? See, I will share the PDF to those who attended the live sessions. Okay, I remember the names. Whenever they ask PDFs, I will share with them directly. Okay. Okay. So thank you very much, guys. I think we have spent good amount of time today, and we could able to understand clubbing as well as set off and carry forward provisions. Hopefully, it is useful for you. Thank you for your participation. Have a nice day. We'll come back with another session in another topic. Good night.